Hello, everybody. It's me, Aether. I don't know where Tide is. Not even on Baby Rage. Oh, what's up, Garrett? Let me just load in this stupid game. Kappa. Oh, he's not even at home, apparently. He's not at home, apparently. Dang.
Hello?
I got my Trice boys here. What's up, guys?
It's tax season.
Tax season in Canada.
For America too. I mean, it's not a whole lot different.
Take your bets now. How many Trices am I gonna get?
Which PlayStation are you playing?
On the 90K?
Oh, I thought you didn't get triaces on that.
No, I don't get Trices on the fat, but I returned it to High Winds.
High Winds doesn't need the fat for you.
But it's huge. It's heavy too, because he has a hard drive in it.
Oh god.
Because he bought the FF12 edition.
Oh.
Music Craigasm? Alright.
Now we get the entire history of Star Ocean and space travel all at once, without any explanation and or voiceovers. Just like here, spaceships changing.
Need to turn Garrick up. DDR, please speak.
I am here.
Alright, try again.
Hello.
Alright, it's probably just my game then.
It's gotta be your game, because I can hear it fine.
Shall we do a roll call?
Alright, go ahead. Everyone knows who I am, because I'm a salty baby rage.
Also known as Iker. That is it.
He's pretty salty about everything. Well, you guys, everybody knows who I am. It's like a runner here, because I'm awesome. And then we have DDR.
That is
Why don't you introduce yourself, DDR, to the world?
Alright,
Everyone out
hello
there.
everyone. Name is some DDR new, and I will be running Star Ocean 4 right after Iker runs this game.
Alrighty.
That's true.
Yeah.
I'm Garrick. I'm Garrick 1. And if we get through a run, let's see if we actually get through a run.
Goodness.
If I
So
kill it.
so much faith in my skills, man. Well, it's not even my skills, it's just RNG.
It's the game. So far, we've been through two Star Ocean games. We've been through Star Ocean, obviously, 1, and then Star Ocean 2, and we saw the item creation.
This is being played on Galaxy. Sorry.
No, you're this game has like the least items you make, and it's the worst item creation RNG. Like, it's really bad. But we'll get to it.
There will be a stark contrast with Star Ocean 4.
That's true. One guy's too loud, you guys. Oh, I blame you.
Audio balancing is hard.
Indeed.
Alright.
I'm the best when it comes to that.
So, if you came here to watch Star Ocean 3 story, you're gonna be pretty disappointed.
That's alright, the story's garbage anyway.
Alright, you gotta pick up the shake there. It's very important. Shakes are good for you.
How about my volume? Is it okay?
That's a lot better.
Okay.
Garrett, can you talk?
Quite a bit as well.
I mean, I turned down the game volume, so So they should be able to hear you guys at least.
Okay.
Hope so.
Alright, so a lot of people don't know this, but I'm gonna show you the first speed tech of the game. It's pretty sick. Oh, and Sophia didn't troll me, so I didn't lose 3 seconds. Nice.
That's right, running away from the first battle.
So, pretty much for the entire run, I want to avoid getting into random encounters like all the time. Like, ideally I won't, ideally I won't fight like any random battles at all. Just force fights the entire time. Right, for these battles I need to build up my gauge a bit. So I have to put Sophia on manual. Oops, that was a mistake.
The bonus move is really important. It's like one of the most important mechanics in the entire game for the speedrun.
Yeah, if it breaks, I'm gonna be short on the XP, which is really bad.
If you guys didn't know, the way you get different bonuses is dependent on which attack you do. I think EXP bonus is short minor.
Just minor attack.
Okay.
That's as long as you don't use a skill. My gauge is a little low. Might have to fight a random battle to get it up a little bit. Runner is higher. I can fix that once I get to the next cutscene, because I need to use both of my hands on the controller. Oh, wait, yeah, I don't get a sleeping scene. I do get a little cutscene here after this skippable cutscene.
So, this thing, I don't even know if they can hear me, but I'm gonna talk anyway. There's like a lot of movement tech in this game that he does. Like, he tries to move as quickly as possible, and he has to map some areas to get to certain. Oh, is it just one area, right? Just to get the one button.
Yeah, just one area.
For those of you not familiar, this game has a map filling mechanic where to fill your map to 100%, you get a bunny statue that you generally just sold for extra full, and he's gonna need it for the run. One specific bunny, which is from the first area on in Ariglyph or whatever.
Nice try, Ace.
It begins.
There's one. We need a counter. Anybody who's curious, tri-aces are when the game essentially fails to load and has to reload the zone, so it takes a lot longer. They don't really happen in Star Ocean 1 or 2, they do this game loaded. And they're also, if anybody's ever seen a Valkyria Profile 2 run, you'd be very familiar with them in that, because that game is really bad for them. Because that game is really graphics intensive, and the PlayStation 2 is sometimes just like, I quit, I'm done, I'm just not even gonna bother with this. I'll retry in a minute.
Yeah, I'll fix that.
Yeah, he'll have to fix the eye. Unfortunately, we didn't really set this up, we just kind of jumped into chat because we felt like it. And plus, this game's fun to talk about. So this is the forest. He's walking around this way because he's trying to map it out. Like, you see his map completion at the bottom to get 100%, so he can get money that he can sell in a little while. Because his money route's actually super tight for the most part.
Alright, how's the audio now? I lowered my mic and then raise the desktop capture. Also turned you guys up in Discord.
That's good.
Sounds better.
It's really hard to run and then do
Yeah.
this at the same time. Multitasking, boys. Jeez. Alright, so we crash landed on this planet and it's lame. There's literally nothing to do here, and if you try to grind here, it takes like forever. Because all the enemies give like 1 experience or something.
Yeah, it's horrible. It's the worst like starting zone of any of the games, in my opinion. It's just you run around and do some stuff, and then you're done. There's really not anything else you can talk about.
Oops. Alright, I turned like you guys up to 200% in Discord. That's like the most I can do.
It's okay, we can all hear each other, and that's what's important. Kidding. It was a joke, everyone calm down.
I'm gonna be like muting and unmuting. Practicing right now.
Practicing. I want to hear your button mashing, obviously.
Listen to this guy practicing before his run. It's not
The
like
fights
any
are
of us-
hard.
The fights are hard. We'll talk about it when we get there. Those fights are hard.
Yeah, so far it's probably the hardest speedrun out of
What
all
is that?
all the
what is that
4.
about- What is that about these games, these PlayStation 2 and PlayStation 1 era like sagas or trilogies, where the last game isn't very good, but the fights and the execution is like the hardest? Because it's the same way in Shadow Hearts. It's just crazy.
That's what happens when you rebalance the game because things were broken in your previous games, and then you also improve the gameplay mechanics. So it's kind of just a byproduct of that. There's really not much going on here because I have to do map completion. So literally the beginning of the run is like 10 minutes of just running around, basically. Not very exciting, but you have to do it because it saves like way more than 10 minutes later on.
For those who don't know, the reward for completing the map is a 1 out of 144 scale bunny. We'll be selling that for a lot of fall, or after will be.
Ending in a blind run of SO5? Yeah, not in your life, dude. So this would have been a decent time if I didn't get that tri-ace, because that tri-ace was like 20 seconds long or something. But now I'm like probably about at least 20 seconds behind. Ouch. I like how that's louder than you.
Oh, I apologize for that.
I'll be breaking my ears for you people. Oh, I thought I got another try, so I've been like, dang, 2 already? It's only been 10 minutes. But yeah, it might be like a combination of the disc and like, because there are scratches on my disc. But also that I'm playing it on a slim, because I usually don't get tri-aces whenever I play this on a fat PS2.
Yep.
Alright.
I bought this game a couple of days ago for like $8, and I still haven't tested the disc. And that's probably not a good thing, I'll tell you that. So this is I don't even know what it's called, right?
Yeah. I need to finish my gauge share, or else I'm epic owned. Oh, I got it.
He's gonna get his bonus gauge max, so it gives him the bonus experience he needs. which is triple experience. And yeah, he's just gonna kill these guys as quickly as he can. Really, there's the combo.
Alright, here comes some really hard tech coming up, because I always mess it up, even though I've done it like 5,000 times.
That's actually probably an accurate number of times he's tried it. So do you want to explain how the Fury works? Because you can't just mash in this game.
Yeah, you can't. Not like in the previous 2 games.
No, because
in
SO1, yeah, go ahead.
The Fury gauge, when it's at 100%, you can guard against all minor attacks and some special skills that are considered minor. But it also determines like how many attacks you can do. So it's really like the anti-mashing tech.
Yeah, they tried to make it not quite as mash X or spam killer moves. But there's going to be a different technique used when using killer moves or super, whatever you want to call them, specialties that cause them to do a bunch of damage.
I can't believe I pulled it off.
Did you really just juggle him?
Yeah.
I haven't seen you juggle him in forever.
Congrats.
That's amazing, actually.
That's so good.
I believe in the world record run right now.
I do too. If I want him to get a world record and then he can like actually retire from this and stop complaining about it, that'd be great. Granted, I did the same thing with Shadow Hearts, but so you juggle him so he doesn't block anything, and that's just the fastest way to do that fight, as far as I know, without having to. Because Norton has a really bad chance of like blocking you, and when he blocks you in this game, they block you in this game because like shoot out stars. It's just a problem. You don't want to block there at all.
The main reason for doing the juggle strat is mainly because of damage. That's the fastest way you can deal damage to Norton because he's not doing anything. The second fastest is if you can't juggle him at all. So like if you can't get any juggles, then you better hope that he stays on the ground, because otherwise it just messes everything up.
Yeah, that boss is actually like, in my opinion, one of the gatekeepers, because you can have a really bad fight there, and it can just turn sideways really quickly on you.
Length of the speedrun in this game average, I'm shooting for sub 330. That's pretty
Wow,
safe.
That's pretty safe. I'm like, that's pretty.
I mean, like that's not like worst case scenario, but that's like safe.
Yeah, it's not worst case scenario, but it's still not like the best run possible. It's still a pretty good time. I'd say like the average for this game would be like a 330. Yeah, that'd be like a run you'd consider all right.
That's a run I'd consider alright. It's like sub 310, dude.
Yeah.
I have really dumb standards.
Someone who doesn't run the game 8 billion times, if you got a 330, you'd probably be pretty happy. Like if I picked this game up and got a 330, I'd be like, all right, good job. But I think standards are, I have to get world record and grind this game for 6 years and then kill myself by learning FFT.
Oh, please watch tonight.
Yeah, that's not
Fair
a
enough.
joke.
Fair enough.
No jokerinos.
No, we're all business here.
I messed up the menu. No, escape. Otherwise this is gonna be all messed up. And then, did I put it on? Okay.
So some people were talking about it before in this game, but there's a technique to actually killing bosses really, really fast early, and that's MP death. And in this game, if your MP is reduced to 0, you die like if your HP is reduced to 0. So what Itu's going to be doing is using Blaze Sword, which takes a second for Fate to put it on, and then when he does it, it's going to do MP damage as well as HP damage. But bosses and enemies in this game have much lower HP pools for the most part, so he's able to kill them really quickly by reducing their MP to 0 versus their HP.
Yeah, MP, like, people complain about the MP death, but I think it's probably one of the better mechanics of this game, because while you can die to MP, if you'll only generally die if you like don't know about it or are negligent. So personally, I think it's probably one of the best things that to come out of this series, and maybe one day they'll bring it back, Star Ocean 12 or whatever.
12.
17.
So I pick up the Warriors bracelet there because for the next box, the giant crab, you can actually kill him in one hit if you're lucky with Fate's Strength gains. Also nice trays.
You used aerial for that fight, right?
No. That's what the Japanese do. They always do 2 hits with Blazing Sword and then aerial because they need the damage from aerial. With the Warriors bracelet, I only need 2 swings.
That's good.
2 trices. Yeah,
Oh yeah. I should keep the counter updated.
I should have made that command, but I couldn't think of how to do it.
It would be hard to increment it like automatically.
I agree.
Does boss control you by freezing you?
Every boss in this game can control you. It's the same thing in Star Ocean 4 though. I thought MP Death was fine. I didn't mind it. It's a cool way to try to take advantage of like manipulating bosses and understanding their HP values and killing them really quickly. Like some of these bosses are pretty hard casually. Not like terribly hard, but like at the start of the game they can be a problem. Eventually they're not. And if you know what to do, they're not difficult. They're not super difficult.
But it's being counted every time the game takes like 80 years to load because Tri-Ace.
The longer than usual load times that you see in between zones.
Okay, so this is why we had to do map completion. I'm gonna sell all this stuff and then buy the Holy Sword. And then dang it! I have to equip it. There we go.
So it's not just going in between zones that you can get a Triace in. You can get one by opening the menu or getting into an encounter. Forgot what else is there.
Yeah, it's pretty much, while it's a terrible thing for speedrunning, it's actually a really nice thing for like playing casually, because the game essentially the game crashes and has to reload everything. So it was I guess it was a way for them to prevent black screens, like just your game soft blocking or hard blocking in the middle of just playing. So for like a casual player, it was really nice that they took the time to do it, but for a speedrunner, it's really stupid that they just couldn't code the game well enough to where it wouldn't do it in the first place.
Alright, so in this game, like every other RPG, we have to like talk to random people just to progress the story. I don't know why developers do that, but that's the thing in like RPGs, and this is no exception.
Yeah, there's not quite as much wandering and talking to people as there is in SO1 or SO2, but there's still a bit.
And sometimes it doesn't make sense. What was that, DDR? Sorry.
It's a little bit like that in 4 as well.
I got a super Tri-Ace because Krosa takes a while to load, and then I got a Tri-Ace. So I think I just lost 40 seconds. Good stuff.
Ouch.
Kirstland's theme is really good, but oh man, that's a tough one.
So it's 3 Triaces so far?
Yeah.
Yeah. World record pace!
A world record for Tri-Aces, maybe.
Hey, it's still a world record.
I mean, I already have world records in this game. They're just uncontested.
Welcome to all of my world records. Thanks.
Oh man. No, I thought Rogue Galaxy's contested.
Yeah, technically. That game's not routed. That game wasn't routed correctly in the first place. Like it's like the Covenant of games where it just wasn't routed very well to start. Boom! I just ripped on myself.
I was talking about Reinhold, dude.
Actually, he's the one who routed it, so it's routed well now. So again, I think you just exploit MP Death for like the first several bosses, right?
Yeah.
From this point for a while.
the first boss you run into that you can't MP kill is Shelby, because for some reason they decided to give him 30,000.
Oh yes, iFair is running this game on Galaxy difficult, just so everyone knows.
Which is like normal, right? Which is like Earth is easy and Galaxy is normal and the universe is hard, right?
Well,
Yeah.
Kind of like that, yeah.
when you first start up the game, you can only choose Earth and Galaxy, so this is essentially new game, because those other categories can be argued to be New Game Plus, because you need battle trophies to unlock them. The people with me are Garrick1, who ran SO1 earlier today, and some DDR noob who will run SO4 right after this run.
Speaking of that.
Don't forget to follow us. Sell out, boys.
Yeah, I know, right? Platform. No, yeah. Follow the runners. All the runners are good at what they do. They all run different games. People have salt. Don't have high sodium levels. This mini game is one of the worst mini games ever. I will admit that. I hate this mini game. As a kid, I had the strategy guide for this game, which wasn't very good, and I think I got stuck here for like a year.
A year? Ouch.
It wasn't really a year, but I read it and they're explaining it to me, and I'm just like, I don't understand. But he gets through it. Those are pretty good. Sometimes you can fail that, and luckily he did not. So.
Yeah, you lose like a minute if you mess up. So to just quickly describe Hauler there, I choose ill-natured because of the way that hauler works. It always goes in the opposite way of where you tell it to go. So, and it also accelerates really fast. So, doing that, we pretty much can go full speed through like most of the hauler. Just at 2 points we have to actually turn and slow down. So it's the fastest choice. So right now we're in Arius, and I pick up the multi-flask there. That item helps your compounding chances for item creation, but we're gonna sell it because we're gonna make some stuff after Shelby.
Yeah, as a series, I like the series in general. I'm not too much a fan of 4. It's got good gameplay, but I just kind of have struggled with the story. The Japanese, if you're gonna play 4, you should get the international version and use the Japanese voices because they're significantly better than the American voices. Like to the point of where it's almost not annoying. So they're much better. Because I think you can have the Japanese voices on in the English subtitles.
Try Ace.
So that's 4.
That's 4. Oh man.
Yeah, at least in this game,
That was a long one.
At least in this game, I just lose time. In Star Ocean 4, if you get a Try Ace, the game just freezes. RIP.
Comes in 3 forms: a discrete error, a soft lock where I can exit with the PlayStation menu, and a hard lock, which I can't do anything about. I have to power off the PS3.
Well, I understand what you're saying. Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, sure, I'm down for that because voice acting is not really why people play Star Ocean, but the voice acting in Star Ocean 5 English is particularly bad, and it's not bad in a way where you're like, oh, this is funny. It's bad in a way where you're like, how do these people get jobs? How is this happening? What is going on? It's like sad bad, not funny bad. Funny bad's fine. Like Star Ocean, we love the PSX version of Star Ocean 1 because the voice acting's cheesy and it's bad. But Star Ocean 4 is just bad in that cringeworthy, sad kind of way. In my opinion, the voice acting, the story's not really that much better. But who cares about the story? It's fair. It's fair to say.
That's unfortunate. So we're going to go and beat up the Aeroglyphs people because we like Null. Apparently. This place is really hard. This place always scares me whenever I go through it because your gauge can like break in like 80 different ways here.
Yeah, there are a couple of different areas where moving through them is quite dangerous. It takes a lot of practice to get good at it. SO3's plot twist, I don't know. I've changed my position on that a little bit, but I guess we can talk about that later. Since we're not there yet. I don't want to ruin it for everyone. This game is 12 years old.
Yeah, these guys are really hard to dodge. These dogs, like you see their model. Like imagine that there's a big square around them and that's their actual like encounter box. So like I have to actually like pay attention and make sure that I have enough space to move away from them because their hitboxes are just, well, they're tri-ace hitboxes. There are some enemies in the game where their hitboxes make absolutely no sense. Like especially if you look at their model, but good thing I know most of the hitboxes by now. So ideally I want to hear this music for like 3 more minutes because I definitely don't want to run into a random encounter because my gauge can break easily.
And like we're saying with the bonus gauge, getting triple experience is incredibly important because he's not going to fight any random battles in the entire game, preferably. So he has to get as much experience from every boss fight to a point, right? It's to, when do you care? When do you stop caring about the gauge?
Ideally I want it until Crystal Cerberus. So that's like an hour in. So I have to definitely dodge everything and not have my gauge break for at least an hour. So the beginning of this run is actually really hard because like dying isn't a real concern, but your bonus gauge is basically like dying because to gain that EXP back you have to take like a few minutes just to rebuild your gauge, then hopefully finish it on the next boss. Also, you might end up being short on EXP because the EXP route is so tight now. The game has been super optimized since it was last run at a major event. So mainly because the Japanese runners finally have videos to show what they actually did. So now I know what exactly to do, and it's a lot more RNG, but the game goes like super fast. Like the current Japanese world record is about 2:55 right now, 2 hours and 55 minutes. So any prospective runners out there, world record is free for this game. You just have to be lucky.
Yeah, this game's pretty. If you play this game casually, it's pretty. I mean, it's not like super long, but it's a fairly long game. I mean, you could probably put 25, 30, 40 hours into it pretty easily, and it's fairly enjoyable to play.
You should also mention the Japanese have hard drives on their PS2s as well.
It
so
depends.
They could have it.
They could have it, but generally they don't. So I changed to Blade of Fury there because it gives me better damage, more guaranteed damage versus the boss, versus just going pure aerial. Because if you do that, the idea behind that is that you have to juggle Shelby, and that's even harder than juggling Norton. So I'm going to save here because this is actually the first fight where you can die horribly.
Classic Shelby.
Classic Shelby.
Shelby's pretty horrible. I've seen many run down Shelby.
Dang it. Oh dang. Jewel Refuge and 2 Smither materials. What a looker. I might die here then. What? Dang. Rude. What?
Yeah, the MP kill strat is really cool. I actually think it's really interesting way to do things if you know about it. It's just if you don't know about it, it's kind of... However, your characters can also die to MP death, but there's... I can't think of an enemy that really does a lot of damage on the stage.
Nice.
Good fight.
Yeah.
No, that was actually bad.
I mean, good that you lived.
Yeah, good that I live and my gauge is alive.
Yeah, that's the most important part.
No, I'm not using full active mode. That's a totally different category. And for that, you don't even turn it on until after this boss, actually. So.
In order to unlock full active mode, you need 95% of the battery, I believe.
Is it faster? Yes. Because Cliff becomes even stronger.
Yeah, the new route that Arthur's been working on is Cliff route, which I think is the route the Japanese are using now, is that right?
Yeah. It's a fusion of Japanese and my optimizations, which is why I'm always so epic mad when I don't PB. Because you can save like 5 to 6 minutes. Yeah, it's actually a lot faster, Enigma, because you can... Because since you're using Cliff, you can attack from different angles, you can use faster moves, like charge becomes super fast. It probably guarantees at least a 2 to 3 minute save over the course of the run. Especially on this too, since you can hit dangerous enemies from different angles as well. What were the names of the items that I sold at the beginning? 144 scale bunny, perfect berries, what was that? Some tome, decrepit tome. What else did I sell? The shake. Yeah, you actually need the shake to have exactly enough money to buy the holy sword. I believe that's it. Yeah, that's enough.
Oh, I failed a puzzle during practice.
Good job.
I'm ready.
I was thinking about doing the full active mode run, but that's not as impressive as just doing a straight new game. So normally I don't get this chest, but since this is a relay, I'd like to actually finish the run and not cry about it when I lose all my money to item creation. So I'm gonna pick that up and actually save as well.
I get really punished if I fail the puzzle, huh?
Yikes.
Oh yeah, I might game over.
Good job, dude. That's unfortunate. Yes, Star Ocean 4, as I said earlier, is probably the hardest of the 4 Star Oceans to play. Like, you saw a gearless robot dying a bunch of times in SO2 due to bad luck. Well, it's even worse in SO4.
Yeah. SO1's the easiest. There's only the 2 boss fights that you have to worry about. GA Reverse, Neo Reverse, and you can worry about Asmodeus, but you shouldn't die to Asmodeus. This game has a couple of bosses that are kind of dangerous, I guess. I can't think of one off the top of my head. Luther, who can maybe kill you.
They could straight up kill me, Robin Wind.
Okay, yeah, Robin Wind. And then SO4 has like 9 or 10 bosses that I've seen that can just kill you.
I think like all the bosses can, except for like a couple. Also, nice try, Ace. Trying to open the shop. That's amazing. I've never gotten a try ace from talking to a shopkeeper before. That's the first.
That's actually pretty good.
And Fresh Sage is reviving in this game. I guess they're reviving in this.
Yeah, instead of Resurrection Bottles, which are the next upgrade to Fresh Sages.
Whereas in SO1 and SO2 you had Resurrection Bottles, Resurrection Mists. Whereas in this game you have Fresh Sages, Resurrection Bottles. And I think you have Resurrection Mists too, but I don't remember.
You can make the Resurrection Bottles and Resurrection Mist from item creation.
Oh yeah, in this game, Star Ocean 3, there is a multi-revive item called the Analeptic.
Okay.
Yeah. Alright, so I'm gonna save here because it's item creation, and pretty much I just pray to the Tri-Ace gods that I don't lose all my money.
Let's go, item creation.
Oh, whoops. I did that too early. Wait, you're not even supposed to go up in there. What am I doing? I'm just nervous about item creation. Japanese world record is 255. So, Smithery, Lines. Okay, I didn't make a mistake there. That's another thing I was afraid of. So how item creation works is that you need to get a certain value. The formula for what values make what are already known. They've been known for a long time, and there are several calculators out there. 1455 is not one of them. That stinks. So not only do you have RNG to find the value that you need, you also have RNG in, you know, it actually being made. So that's why people in the chat were like, 14 isn't a value? Dang. Because I used to know this by range, but that's incorrect. Because that's not how it actually works. Ranges are a noob trap. You actually have to get certain values to get a chance at actually making the item, and I'm not even getting it. Goodness.
Did my game just not loading something correctly?
Did it soft lock?
Like, there's an object that wouldn't load. I'm not sure what's wrong.
Nice. Made it third try.
I didn't activate an events, that's right.
Oh. So you're just confusing yourself?
Yeah, because I made a save in a weird spot.
Okay, so I made the Damask gauntlets for Cliff because the route that I have created, based on the Japanese route and then my own routing in this too, is based on Cliff being arguably the strongest character in the entire game. So we're going to be seeing that later.
Are you doing cliff route? I didn't
Yeah.
know you were doing cliff route.
Yeah, dude.
Oh, I didn't know that.
He's been doing cliff for a good while.
Yeah, and I never PB even though it's like a billion times faster.
Let the salt flow through you.
Channel your inner salt.
How rude! I'm not a bug! That's probably one of my favorite voice scenes in the entire game. I don't know why, it's just hilarious.
The cliff and fairy interactions are the best.
They're about to now.
You get to my favorite part.
Burn them down? No, stupid! Love that part.
Same.
Alright, so we gotta fight some trees. This old tree's really a monster.
If I remember right, Cliff is a genetically enhanced human, right? He's not just like a normal.
He's a
Klausian.
Klausian, yeah. They're not human.
Klausian, the Klaus planet has stronger gravity. Therefore, the humanoids there have stronger builds.
I don't like this. This witch control me. And she looks like she's in a position to do just that. I'm gonna reset this. Oh no, she was about to troll me. Like, that's one of the most dangerous enemies in the game, and I can't really do anything about it. Ugh, gosh, I hate dodging that enemy.
Mostly because she's really fast.
Yeah, she's really fast, and she's facing a certain way, she'll just catch you. Oh nice, a Jewel of Refuge. Alright, I'm in like amazing shape right now.
For those who don't know, Jewels of Refuge are items you use that freeze enemies in place on the map.
Yeah, so they can't move around. It's actually really useful. Whoops. Hammer of Might. And then Tactics, Formation, Line, Mass Gauntlets. There's a Jewel Refuge. Alright. This run is technically on world record pace? No way. Not happening.
I think your timer is too big. It's not gonna fit the hour mark.
No, it should. I checked it before.
Oh, it should? Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it just looks massive, the minute and seconds.
Oh, that's on purpose.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I see.
Oh, wait. Yeah, I see what you mean. I'll fix that later.
Oh, is it actually a problem?
Yeah, I just saw it. I was like, I was testing it before, and I'm like, oh, I didn't notice it before now. It's fine. I think you'll see the 1, but not if it turns into 2. I gotta try Ace anyway. And fix that while we're
We
here.
have 30 seconds break.
30 seconds to fix it. Alright, we did it. Glorious. Finally, a use for tri-aces. Where I can fix stuff on the fly.
We did it, boys. We found it.
Oh, don't run me over, Rock. Okay. Whew. That was close.
Favorite part is when Edge falls down to nothing. It could happen in a final dungeon.
And then we want to save here, because I could totally choke on this fight, and that'd be pretty awful.
It's Mudman, right?
Yeah. So we're about to fight Mudman. He is not really much of a man, but he is made out of mud.
Mega Man Export, if you will.
Nice. They timed that perfectly. Oh my gosh, dude. Fucking did that.
Oh, language.
Oh, I'm sorry, but
That's your one.
one warning.
Yeah.
I might be dead, actually.
Oh, that sucks.
Yep.
That's unfortunate.
Well, at least you saved before you fought him, so.
Actually, I really need the XP, so I'm gonna have to rebuild my gauge here.
Speaking of biscuits, there will be a Breath of Fire relay somewhat soon. Not really soon, but it's in the plans.
That was an optimal death. I just lost like 2 minutes. Because I really need that EXP from Midman. Otherwise, I'm in trouble. Like, if I die anyway. So, I don't know if this is going to be sub 330 anymore. Because that's actually really a horrible thing that happened. Because he didn't get head stun. That was the thing that happened there.
And you lost your gauge at a really bad spot too.
Yeah. Because I can only use the trees to rebuild.
They're not particularly nice either.
I'm sure I'm sure Fire Emblem is considered an RPG.
Strategy RPG.
One more fight should do it. Oh, come on, that's just rude. Don't do that. Nice. Yeah, when Mudman doesn't get hit stun, that's just really unlucky. I just lost like a lot of time there. Gotta make sure I have the right stuff on, alright? Oop, went the wrong way. Yeah, there are 3 Shadow Heart games, and they're all on the PS2. What?
Yeah, they're. Yeah.
Okay. Whew. I'll be fine on EXP now. Even if I get wrecked in the next fight. Tactics, formation, escape. Oh, skills.
terrific.
I believe if you get crit, the gauge breaks. I know that's for sure, and you can get crit when you're like countered. So pretty much any critical hit ends up in a gauge break.
Critical hit or your character gets KO'd, and you are controlling that character.
Yeah, there's that too, but that's pretty awful. And since I was soloing a Cliff, if that happened, I'm dead. So there's.
Or if you escape from a battle as well. So no way your gauge can break. What was the sure review covered that?
Yeah, also escaping battle breaks it. That's true.
Yeah, just like what Enigma's Chaos said.
So that's why I don't want to run into like any random encounters because I'm forced to fight them. Am I going to be streaming this tomorrow? Probably not. Especially since I just dropped a, very naughty word earlier because I got frustrated. Also, nice try, Ace.
That's 6 now. I believe.
6 in the first hour, dude. That's amazing. This is a really bad one, too. I think this is 30 seconds.
Ow, that is long.
Hello?
Really? It's taking this long? Is the music still playing at least?
Yeah, the music is playing. It's just, it's not loading.
Oh, that is...
Wow. That's amazing. Hold on, let me see if I can fix this.
Is your PS2 actually like the SO3 disc?
Well, I heard it load, so let's see.
Okay.
If it doesn't, then I have to do that fight again.
At least you saved.
Yeah, but I have to build my gauge up again. Yeah, it froze. That's unfortunate, man.
Marathon luck, right here.
I think that's beyond marathon luck at that point. That's actually the first time it's ever happened to me, and I've run on this PS2 a couple times already. So,
I was expecting that to happen with my run.
yeah, well, I guess it happened to me instead.
My apologies.
And people wonder why I want to quit this game forever.
This is on the PS2 9.
Yeah, this is on the 90K, so I have to rebuild my gauge, and that's another 2 minutes. That's quite amazing. This is quite the world first right now. Cliff is the best for building up your gauge. Dang it.
It's because he can spam so many minor attacks
Yeah,
in a row.
because he has the fast jab, and it gives quite a lot. Oops, let's escape now.
I mean, Cliff is the perfect fight game character.
Well, he is a fight game
Yes.
character, essentially.
I mean, he has jabs, he has an uppercut, he has a dive kick.
He's got super moves.
He has
Yes.
fireball too.
Can't believe I have to do this fight again. It's very, very time consuming. Yep. Yeah, PS3 would be slower, for at least for this game, for whatever reason.
Also,
Something to do with the emulation.
Patrick Ocean.
Your mind has to be an enigma. Hello? I'm dead. Wait, I live. Sick. Become Patrick.
Patrick Ocean.
Your mind has to be an enigma. Hello? I'm dead. Wait, I live. Sick. Well, I'm at 58 minutes on Mudman. I see. So I'm about 20 minutes behind. Goodness. I think me and this game have I think it's a very awful relationship. I would like to break off my relationship with this game.
Well, at least you got the Norton juggle.
Yeah, at least I got, execution tech properly. But, this is stuff I can't control, which is what makes me upset. Like, if I make mistakes, I just, feels bad, man. But when it's stuff like that,
It's out of your control.
yeah, it's out of my control and can't help but get upset about it. So right now, I want to shoot for sub 340.
That's fine. Alright, I did the puzzle correctly.
We don't care about date sim points, so we just do everything that makes us go faster, like talk to Nell twice, and that makes everyone dislike you. So,
Quickest option.
quickest option, because we don't time ending like the Japanese runners do. The Japanese runners actually have to get Sophia ending because it's significantly shorter than the other ones. There already was a Shining... Are you talking about Shining Force or just Shining? Because there was already a Shining Force relay. Like last month, I think. I was there. So, I'm not expecting my bonus gauge to last much longer, but I would like it up until Cockatrice at the very least, which is like 10 minutes more. So I could just at least have Berserk. Because with Berserk, if you're unfamiliar with the tactics mechanic, if you never checked, Berserk increases damage done to you by 30%, but also increases damage you do by 30%. Or was it 50? But in either case, since we're not concerned with defense, because we never buy armor in this game, we want Berserk as soon as possible, so we can go super fast.
Berserk gives you an attack boost. I don't know how it works exactly in SO3.
SO3, it's activated once you learn it. You gain an extra 30% on your damage calculation, and
Okay.
on your for both your damage that you're doing and damage done to you. The damage formula in this game is really simple. It's just literally attack minus defense and then multiplied by the move multiplier. So I believe it's the same for most Star Oceans. Star Ocean 1, Star Ocean 2 also have that sort of calculation. Star Ocean 4's is really weird, and when I showed it to DDR, he started cracking up.
It's 2/3 bracket attack minus 2 times defense and bracket.
Yeah, for whatever reason, they decided to make it super complicated for no reason. While they kept magic damage, I think it's the same. The same damage formula.
There's also factoring in weak points, because weak points are a thing in Star Ocean 4. And of course, there's combo bonuses and as well as skill bonuses.
Oh, I made a boo-boo. It's fine.
What'd you do?
I forgot to do a menu after Mudman. Good thing I noticed it now. Okay. Because if I didn't check my menu, I would have just died.
Yeah, like in a lot of the games, a lot of speedruns, we don't worry really about defense at all.
Oh my gosh, that was bad timing. And Fate's dead. It's really bad.
We actually used defense boosting item for one fight in Star Ocean 4.
What?
We'll get to that.
Oh, nice. Well, I got extra experience for Cliff. And a Jewel of Refuge.
That's good, I guess.
It's okay. It means Fate won't have sidekick for Demetrio, though. It's a bit unfortunate.
No one wanted to see Sidekick. Get over it.
I don't know,
Move.
the chat was hyping it.
There's a lot of problems with using that move because it has a lot of chances to whiff, and it does a lot.
Yeah. It also has a fairly low multiplier. It's just it's an easy move to use, so it becomes super strong because you're using it all the time. But
It doesn't have that much of a fury use compared to other moves, so you can combo it constantly over and over again, and it only deals HP damage.
Yeah, have you guys explained the canceling yet on it? Or...
I don't think so.
you guys can explain it while I try to salvage the run at this point.
Go ahead, Garrick.
Nice try, Ace.
From my understanding of it, it's not nearly as in-depth, I'm sure, as DDRs or Aethers, because they've dealt with it a little bit more than I have. Every time you do Sidekick, you can kind of do like a cancel, which is, I don't remember if it's pressing the cancel button or actually just like doing something else, and your character will stop when he's doing it, and it'll increase the damage of the next one, essentially. Stack that over and over and over. That's a very vague, very lazy explanation, but essentially he's able to cancel it like you would in like a fighting game and increase the damage of it exponentially as it grows. And they were talking about Sidekick doesn't have like a fury cost. You can just spam it and do that same mechanic over and over and take advantage of it. So I think the highest I've ever seen is like 300%.
Yeah, it only goes up to
that's the
300.
maximum. Yeah.
But the nice thing about that is that 300 is more than enough because the max damage is 5 nines, so it doesn't really need to go up that much higher.
Yeah, and it will hit that when it's roughly around there. When it's to 35%. It just destroys everything. It's very brutal.
The MP damage cap is also insane.
Yeah, which is really funny. But I don't think any MP skill really hits that hard, as far as I know.
Usually you'd expect like an order of magnitude off. Or two.
So I need to pick up an extra chest here because my gauge broke. So I won't be getting extra money, so I need to pick up this chest. Normally I don't, but since we're gonna be short on money for item creation later, because yeah, we do item creation later, to the surprise of no one. We're gonna need a lot of money for it. And if you remember me shopping, that's the only. Oh, I'm out of MP. I see. Wow, I thought I was gonna make it. Oh gosh, I almost game over there.
Sigh of relief.
Keeping everybody on the edge of their seats.
Yeah, if you both get paralyzed, I don't think it's an instant game over, but they can just kill you from there, which is really
There's
bad.
a battle trophy you can win, where it's like you win with 3 paralyzed characters.
But yeah, since I don't have any armor for Fate, and I didn't upgrade Cliff's armor, I will die really fast.
I will be right back.
So this gimmick in the dungeon is that it's really dark, so I actually have to like raise the brightness up a little bit for the game, because I don't like just looking at the minimap. I personally think it's a dumb mechanic and dumb gimmick for a dungeon, but hey. Also, like, if the line shines on certain doors and you approach it, your shadow actually closes the door, so we had to like close some of that. Some of those doors there. I should have used Blackberry here. That's fine.
Yeah, I wasn't a huge fan of some of the dungeon mechanics in this game. Specifically the dragon food.
Oh, the dragon food, yeah. We get to see that later.
I'm one of those salty people who couldn't do it right, no matter how many times I tried, and I hated it very much.
Oh, he's got stoned. Nice. I didn't notice. Oh, we got the cockatrice juggle. It's pretty sick.
Good job.
Show off some swag for the fans. Oops. Remove the Warrior's Bracelet. Place. Formation. No.
I don't know what killing 97. I don't think so. think Blazing Sword does enough damage to try to chain it. I don't even know if you can chain it or not.
You can't chain it. I mean, you probably could, but it would take forever.
Yeah. So you notice in all 3 games we safety saved quite a bit because things can just go wrong. And a lot of times in all the games in this series, actually, once they go wrong, there really aren't a ton of backup strats in battle because the battles are all pretty fast paced. So if you don't really have a way to recover, you're kind of fucked.
Well, I just saved because I got everything I wanted and I don't want the game to freeze again. So, just in case.
There's also that. There's also that.
I mean, I doubt it'll freeze again, but I think the last time the game froze on me was when I was switching to Disc 2. That was pretty great. That was on a different PS2 too.
I am.
Yo.
Yeah, SO4 will be next.
So there's kind of a glitch with Cliff where you actually go faster if he's up against something. It's kind of interesting. Can't really do it for this fight though. And you want to be behind these guys. Uh-oh.
Oops, got it.
Why is this guy focusing on Cliff? I want my gauge to at least survive as long as it can. Sidekick. There's no sidekick here, Pitted. That is an inferior route. Also try Ace.
That's 8.
8 tries.
We're not even on this 2 yet.
No, we're not.
I always forget that this game has 2 discs. I don't know why.
It's not the game with the most discs.
No?
Star Ocean 4 on Xbox has 3 discs.
I think the game just knows that I don't like it, so it's like, well, I don't like you too.
Mutual dislike.
You have a very toxic relationship. Yeah, I got 8, Pitted.
Behold the power of the tracks.
Behold programming.
I think Pitted missed a one that froze the game entirely.
Oh yeah. Missed the good one.
For
Seriously,
those,
gamer is stronger. But go ahead.
For those of you who don't know, Pitted is the current Star Ocean free world record holder for North American version.
Because he's luckier than me.
307 or free.
I get to be salty.
I think the game has...
Now he's actually probably more skilled at this game than I am.
Yeah, I think the game has given Ifer enough reason to channel his results.
Yeah, just today too.
Yeah, just today.
It froze today. I'm like, wow, that's something.
I should also mention Pitted ran Star Ocean 4 as well.
Yeah, but
Galaxy mode.
he absolutely murdered that record though. Just saying.
Yeah, considering the fact you rerouted the whole game, you pretty much just destroyed it.
I still used Pitted's route as a base.
Well, yeah, obviously. But we're saying you rerouted it and then destroyed it.
Yeah. which is not a bad thing. That's a good thing. That should be the goal, is to make something that can be improved and then improve it. It's great to see that.
So my gauge is still alive somehow. So maybe I'll be able to do the faster strats for Shrine of Kadan. Because Shrine of Kadan is really slow if you don't have certain skills. You can still do it, it's just slower.
There is a very infamous room, I think. It's on this visit.
No, it's after Vox.
Okay.
After the Amina side story is over. Another rocket ship's claw. Where am I going? I thought I was ahead of where I actually was. Good stuff. That's fine. Like, mistakes like that make me sad, but they don't make me mad.
How did we pick the SO games to speedrun in particular? Well, I don't know how to explain that. I don't know how to answer that. I know Gearless has been running Star Ocean for some time. I don't really know why he picked that game. I assume it's just because he likes it. I accidentally started speedrunning Star Ocean 1. I was playing through it casually because I'd never played it before, and some people... I got the Fanfic X in my casual playthrough, and I had no idea what it was, and when it dropped, some people were in my chat, and it kind of just escalated from there about how to do a route, and then it just got completely out of hand, and that's how I ended up running that game. iThier runs this game because he hates himself, and DDR runs SO4 because he also hates himself, hence why he runs Mystic Quest.
Oh yeah.
That's
DDR
true.
is also a known Mystic Quest runner.
Mystic Quest is my first speed game.
But in all fairness, I'll let them answer the question. That's a good question. Why did you guys pick 3 and 4, or pick the specific Star Ocean game?
May I fill in my story?
Yeah, go for it, dude. I'm just walking
Okay.
around.
So, I chose this game because I picked up this game, I think in 2010 when it was released. Got the Platinum Trophy the same year, which took a long time. And I've always wanted to speedrun this since the first few speedruns happened on Earth difficulty and Galaxy difficulty. I finally got the time around earlier this year, so I ended up learning the routes and made a few improvements, and here I am.
A few improvements, yeah. That's a good way to put that. How much time did you cut? Like 44 minutes?
That's a big exaggeration.
How
My
much-
PB, for comparison's sake, is a 244.43. Old record was a 301 XX because I forgot the seconds.
So 27.
Not 27,
You said 244, right? And
And-
303?
301.
Oh, 301.
Why did I choose SO3? Well, this is my first speed game, and nice tries.
That's 9.
Why I chose this game, I think I was talking to all the Highwinds a long time ago, and I was telling him, like, you know what game I haven't seen speedrun? Star Ocean 3. It would probably be a good speedrun. And then he told me about some dude named Let's Get Pitted actually ran it. I never watched him though, so when he was actually like running the game, because I was into big streamers at the time, watching the Dota 2 streams, the Caleb's Trihexes. Wasn't really big into RPG speed watching, and eventually I was like, you know what, maybe I should just actually speedrun a game. And then I chose this one. And then when I told Pitted, he was like, are you sure? And I'm like, yeah, totally positive. And now I am a very unhappy man. That's the whole reason. I literally chose it because, you know, why not? No, like, special attachment. No, it's not.
Oh, it's not?
It's not my favorite game. Not by a long shot.
Okay.
It's just a lot of games that I like to run would be like way too long to speedrun. Or speedruns aren't interesting. This is the most interesting game I could think of speedrunning. Like, I like the game for its mechanics and stuff, but it's far from my favorite game.
That's how I feel about Star Ocean 4 myself.
FFT is a game that I really like. It's not one of my favorite games, but yeah, I ran that because I actually like the game. So, and I can actually like speedrun that for hours and hours.
iFair is one of the FFT runners for the June Final Fantasy Series Relay.
Yeah, that's not confirmed though.
Is it?
It's. I mean, I'm available and I'll probably be chosen, but
Okay.
I wouldn't
So
say it's like
what-
100% confirmed. Like, Cliff actually uses more moves than Hammer of Might too. It's really good if you know how to use it. I'm just really bad at it.
Well, his SO4 counterpart will use Spirit Might.
Oh, yeah, that boss.
Yep.
Lizard Cliff, yeah. That's a great boss. Alright, I'm supposed to talk to the queen. Oops. Yeah, there are so many triggers, and the queen is like the biggest offender. Like, you have to talk to her like maybe 5 to 6 times throughout the entire game, and you have to, otherwise you can't progress. Right now we're gonna go get us to talk to the queen. Oops. Yeah, there are so many triggers, and the queen is like the biggest offender. Like, you have to talk to her like maybe 5 to 6 times throughout the entire game, and you have to, otherwise you can't progress. Right now we're gonna go get the disintegration hammers, which lets us do some 6-speed tech. If you're familiar with the disintegration hammers, you can reset a room, and we use that to go faster. Also, I still have my gauge. It's amazing. Even though I had to like rebuild it twice because I crashed and died. Yeah, from what I saw about SO5, everyone just uses the crossbow guy and just spam his attacks. So here's the first time we use speed tech. That saves like 5 seconds, 5 to 10 seconds. And then we do that a bunch of times in the run, so it adds up. She got quote-unquote censored. All they did was just make her underwear like slightly longer. Personally, I don't like the outfit. I think it's strange and odd. Like, they try to justify it with some sort of lore, like she likes to show off or whatever, but it's pretty weak. I don't believe it.
I haven't watched anything for SO5 at all yet. I'm saving myself for the
Yeah.
disappointment that's surely to come.
It's a disappointment. Set sail for Heartbreak. Alright, menu. Want to do increase MP damage. It's like, what? You actually use that skill? Yes, we actually do use that skill. And it's actually really good. Oops. And since we got a bunch of Jewels of Refuge over the run, we can use one here. So just some like small optimizations here and there, like that, where I use the hammers twice there, so I can get into the room faster. Bacchus spams in like a couple fights. Alright. Increase MP damage, go. Turn off Maria's AI first. What a fight. Yeah, so we MP kill the mini bosses here because they have really low MP. And since Cliff learned increase MP damage, that's the fastest way to dish out MP damage. Yeah, we skip all the cutscenes. You don't want to watch any of them. They're all really long. So Maria learned Power Up, which is really important. So we're pretty much done with Maria. We only literally needed to get one level with her. Just punch all the things. Unfortunately, we can't MP kill Crystal Cerberus because his MP value is too high. So we have to use charge. Oh, I got blocked. That was Japanese tech, and I failed at it.
Well, at least you're not losing 10 seconds to being blocked like Cliff.
Yeah, that was awesome. That's apparently gonna be forever in my PB. Where Cliff blocked me for like 10 seconds before going to box. It's pretty great.
Yeah, the box rooms are one of my least favorite mechanics in this game as well.
Yeah, and I have to do them like 20 times.
It's fun for the viewers, at least.
Yeah, it's fun for the viewers. I get mad.
Fun for the viewers.
Alright. So... I don't need my gauge to survive here. It would be nice, but...
At this point, it's a luxury to have.
Aw, nice miss. Whoops. Oh, he froze. Yeah, that's why I saved there. Because that can happen. You could just kill him again. Lavender. Which of the two optional heroes do you get in this run? We only get one.
think Star Ocean 4 stops doing the statuses on KO'd characters.
Does it?
I think so.
Well, that's nice.
I mean, that's one way to cure a status.
Just kill somebody.
Charge is good. That's one of Cliff's best moves in the game. It comes out fast, it has a high multiplier. What's not to love about Charge?
And you can use it really quickly, session.
It's even faster if you're using full active mode, because he doesn't have a setup lag. Because he just does it. Phase is good in the early games, I believe. You use his spells for extra damage. Is that right, DDR?
Pardon?
If you use Phase early on, mostly with his spells for extra damage.
Well, mostly because of juggling capabilities, yes.
Yeah, but it does add extra damage over time.
For sure, yeah.
But yeah, I forgot it does juggle, like Earthglaive, right?
Yes.
Aerial Assault is probably his best move, but Charge is pretty up there.
It's time to cool down.
Anyway, you can you cool down your PS3. Oh yeah, because it lights on fire if you play SO4. Also, you don't need to fight those statues. And you also don't need to do these doors. You can just go up here. A lot of people that have played through this game don't realize that that's actually optional. That part anyway, where you're supposed to solo a fight with each of the characters. That's optional.
Hello, hello.
Sup, Tide?
I am finally here. I returned from work.
After 80 years, this is Tide Ruglia. He ran this game like a couple times. He's mostly well known for VP2 and Wild Arms, but not FFT for whatever reason.
I'm mostly well known for doing really hard runs and dying in the most glorious fashion. That's why I don't run this game anymore, because it's an easy game.
Easy game.
Easy game.
Well, easy game to finish. Not an easy game to get a good time in. Like, if you just want to speedrun for fun, this is like a good game to do it. Like, if you don't really care about world records or rerouting, like this is probably the most new person friendly. Because like, if your gauge breaks, you just lose time. Doesn't mean rip run. It means you just learn the backup strat. Also, I can't make this.
Are you guys on Hitbox or?
No, it's just on. I'm directly streaming onto twitch.tv/RPG Limit Break.
I just want there to be a little delay, because I think the last time when I was commentating, I think it was back in Cali Marathon, there was indeed stream delay, so my commentary was like 10 seconds off or something. So as long as that's not happening, or if it is, I just have to take into account, have a vision 10 seconds forward. That would be fine.
There's a little bit of that.
Okay. Alright, we'll take that into consideration. Although I assume that a lot of stuff is kind of explained since we're getting to the portion of the game where we have most of our movement options available. And Twitch is buffering like a maniac for me.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
unfortunate.
Why don't you introduce it?
That's part of the reason why I was like, oh, you guys watching somewhere else, like it's a recap or something. This makes figuring out where we actually are.
OCD feeling? No, I know that feel. I'm like that if I'm playing casually.
Just refreshing stream again.
Oh.
So, are you using FAM right now, or is this?
No, this is True Galaxy. The truest of galaxies. True Galaxy mode percent.
So,
Box Boys.
Yeah.
Box Boys.
I forgot to pick up the chest my first time through, so
Yeah, when we come back to this room, we'll see D20s. So it's the best dungeon.
there we
Alright,
go.
so the person who joined us is Tide Rubia. He's our regular scheduled commentator for Star Wars 3.
Yes, working in an accounting job during this time of the year is amazing.
Tax season.
It's pretty great.
He also found out all the mechanics for Xenoblade Chronicles. That was some sick lore that I found out.
Wait, where did you find this out? About
What's that site with all the stuff with like all the mechanic questions and compilations and stuff? Yeah, I googled it. I was like, what? Well, I was googling like SO3 mechanics, and then I found that website, and then I found your post on Xenoblade Chronicles. I'm like, what?
yeah, to clarify what I was talking about, I go to another website where we talk about fantasy style, like RPG character type matches. So to get that sort of tournament running, we need to have basically data. So we do a lot of data mining and a lot of work on how mechanics work, what the stats are, and so on and so forth, in order to get the fantasy type league to run properly. So I did at one point do a big stack topic entry on Xenoblade, and there is a lot of information that I discovered. So apparently that's what he was referencing before, for those of you that are wondering. Anyways, we are finally leaving Temple now. Or rather, the shrine, not Temple, sorry. But before that, he's going to grab the Book of Prophecies in one of the alcoves of the wall that we broke down earlier. Because there is, the Book of Prophecies is needed to recruit inventors in this game. So I don't know how much we've talked about item creation. So I'm sure you've done item creation already with stuff bombs, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they saw. I got a good item creation for the Damask Omelets.
Did you talk about how item creation works exactly?
Yeah.
Okay, so I kind of know what we do pick off of. Alright, so you can recruit different inventors in this game, and the way the inventor system works is if you want to recruit people, you either have to pay them money or you have to get an item that they want. In this case, the item that we need to recruit one of the inventors is in the shrine, and it's referred to called the Book of Prophecies. So he's going to recruit some guy called Macwell. And the reason why we need Macwell is because in order to break the game completely open from this point on, we're going to forge an item, or create an item rather, called the Orihaukum, or Orihauchum, however you pronounce it. So that item is a synthesis item, which means that you can put it onto any weapon, and it provides that weapon with a bonus 500 attack power. That's the important part of the synthesis item anyway. So in case you're wondering for relative purposes how much 500 attack power is, at the end of the game, your weapons have about 800 to 900 attack power. So 500 attack power is roughly half of that, and we're going to be able to duplicate that factor through item creation. So it stacks onto itself. And he's going to try and build a item creation weapon that has approximately 3,100 attack power. And again, remember the end game weapons have about only 800 to 900. So 3,000 attack power is massive overkill. And by recruiting Macwell, we'll have part one of that process. And the reason why you absolutely need Macwell is due to the formulas of item creation, which means that in order to create the item, the Orihaukum, you need a combined talent rating of 99, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And unfortunately, the people on your team are all stupid with creating alchemy items. You don't have high enough talent to be able to create it normally. So what you need to do is you need to recruit a couple of inventors who specialize in alchemy, so you can actually create the item. And even then, it won't be enough because the talents that he's gonna get is 31 from Macwell, 20 from Maria, and then he's gonna get an additional 50 from another character or NPC that he will recruit later called Misty Lear. And stacking all of those together still only produces about 104, I think, for talent. So that gives you only a 5% chance of creating Ori Halco. So he's going to have to grab another item later called the Alchemist Stone. I think that's what it's called. And that increases the alchemy success rate by 20. So he's going to have combined rate 25% success for creating Ori Halco. I believe there may be a character that has higher synthesis, or not synthesis, sorry, alchemy rating than Maria. Maria is important because she has a bonus factor that reduces the cost of all item creation by 10%. And if Arthur hasn't stressed about how tight money is in this run, let me stress it for him. It's tight. So you need to conserve as much money as possible, and Maria helps do that in the item creation process. So you can't just simply ditch her, even though she may not have the highest talent at that time.
Well, if you're feeling really gutsy, you use Nell instead of Maria. It makes the item creation faster, and I think, but she has like 1 or 2% less chance of making the item.
Yeah, I don't remember what the exact talent rating Nell has on alchemy is. I know Maria's is 20, which is not very high. So that's why when you combine even with the person with 50 on the line, you only have like 104. And the alchemy item for alchemy rating for Ori Halcom is a 99. So you have just enough of a chance to create it normal. So you want the Alchemist Stone to boost it such that you're not stuck with a 5% chance. And if you've watched Aether do runs in the past year, you'll know that item creation is one of those parts in the game you control over and can completely kill your run regardless of how well you've played so far, which is why it's a big pain in the ass. So you really want to optimize the chances you have of making that weapon. The good news is, we talked about this a little bit before, but if you're just looking to finish the game, you don't need to have the 3000 attack power weapon. I've done runs of the game several times before with like a 1900 attack power weapon, but losing like 1000 attack is pretty significant, and it does make fights quite a bit more dangerous at certain points. So nice tries from going to the menu, by the way.
Yeah, and also a trace from entering this place.
Well, if you beat my record of 18, you would go out your Star Wars of 3 career with a new high score.
I think he's on track.
He's on track.
I'm
So
definitely
he
on
got a
track.
prize that completely froze the game earlier.
Oh wow, got the infinite.
Yeah, I got the infinite
That's really
after
special.
Mudman.
Yeah, so I think we probably talked about trices in this, but my PS2 is really old, so before Aether swapped back to this PS2, he was using a PS2 from a friend of ours, All the High Winds, and his tri-aces were pretty tame. They were like maybe 3 or 4 run, and then of course, now that he's using back this other PS2, he's getting all the tri-aces that I've been getting. It's also why I can never take this game seriously, because like tri-aces are just really infuriating. It's almost as bad as item creation, in that there's literally nothing you can do when it's gonna happen. So it's pretty great. And now we get a mini boss, Schweimer. So at this point in the game, we pretty much already have all the tools that we need. And I think in this reroute, yeah, Aether primarily uses Cliff instead of Fate. So he's gonna use Aerial Assault. And the good news with Aerial Assault is that it has a massive multiplier. Main disadvantage is that it has quite a bit of startup. So Cliff is a little bit more vulnerable when he's trying to execute. But because it does so much more damage, fights tend to end pretty quickly regardless. The other thing to note about Aerial Assault is that one of Cliff's weaknesses compared to Fate Maria is that he's not really quite as good as handling aerial enemies as they are. So Fate has a couple of normals that are pretty good. Maria has a gun. They both have techs that can handle aerial enemies. But Cliff doesn't really have any of those, and Aerial Assault is one of the few ways he's able to hit aerial enemies without as much of a problem. So it's a really good skill for him. But the problem is you need to have that triple EXP gauge alive, because Cliff doesn't learn it until like 22 or 26, which is
26. It's either 26 or 27. I can't remember, but you have
I
to.
don't remember.
You have to keep your bonus gauge until Crystal Cerberus to learn it.
Yeah, I don't remember the exact level when he learns it, but it's probably been stressed upon before. But keeping your bonus gauge in the run is important. I mean, after you learn all your key techniques, you could let it break and it won't slow you down too much. But you know, having it around means you can get more HP, you have more attack power, even though it's not that much. But when you run through the gamut of multipliers and everything, you know, it starts to matter a little more. You don't have to heal as much, you have more HP and so on and so forth. So, plus the fact that you're not getting hit means that you're not flinching, which means that your attacks are actually executing, so you're hitting the guy properly instead of taking forever to execute. So those are all really good things to happen. But generally speaking, if you're running a route that requires a move down like the mid-20s chain, it will require a bigger execution demand on you to not get hit. So it'd be a little bit tougher than usual.
Alright, my only break is coming up.
Only break.
Only break.
Yeah, so you have to go through this desert in order to reach the Moselle Ruins, which is where they want to hold like a peace conference between Glyph and the Kingdom of Aquios or whatever. I don't remember where Nell's from. But the gimmick of the desert is that as you're running through it, the gauge on the left, your water gauge decreases, and if you run out, then Fate passes out. So there's a specific route that he has to take, and then he's going to grab an item inside this dungeon that removes that restriction completely, which is important because you need to grab some items in the desert. If you don't have the item, you can't do that because Fate will just collapse everywhere.
Woo! I made it.
Good job. Yeah, so this is the only cutscene in the game that's kind of automated. 42 seconds is my timing. Apparently that's fast enough for my boy Aether to get to the bathroom and do his thing. But the thing in this cutscene is that it shows you if you put the right puzzle pieces in the game of rock, paper, scissors, then it beats the other statue on the Switch. So the archer beats the wizard beats the knight, and the knight beats the archer. That's about the only thing you really need to know. And when you see the statues, you're supposed to replace them with the corresponding statue that beats the one on top of the on top of the pedestal that the other statue is standing on. Is this reverse World of Warcraft? Good question. I've never played World of Warcraft, so I don't know.
I always have to run whenever I have to use the restroom. I mean, the door's like right next to me, but
I mean, compared to Star Ocean 4, the beginning of the game is like a 3.5 minute restroom break.
try Ace, dude.
11.
Sick. I hope you're going for the new high score, bro.
Well, I don't have a say in it, so.
I just hope you lose 2.5 minutes on this changing like I did. Greatest.
I mean, that's the time the big tries lost.
What?
Well, 2.5 minutes is the largest time loss I've gotten on the tries. That's
Dang.
pretty great.
Well, I lost a lot of time because I thought I was gonna load, but apparently not.
Well, you lost a lot of time because you've been getting 11 tries throughout the run. So if you assume that's 30 seconds per tries, that's like 5 minutes already. Which is pretty great. Okay, so he's just going around the dungeon putting these chest pieces on top of the things so that they can open up the central door. The main thing to know is that there's a chest that he will grab that contains 40,000 fall. And the fall again is super important because money is very tight, and then he grabs the water veil, which is the item that you need to go through the desert so that you don't have the water restriction. And once you place all 3 statues on, the door to the conference room will open. So the important thing of note is that he took I believe it's the left path, because the left path is kind of where all the statues are. And if you take the other direction, then you have to bypass like several more rooms, and there's more enemies nearby. So the left path in this area tends to be faster than going the other direction.
So we're done with the ruins. Now we gotta pick up important items that Tide mentioned earlier.
Yeah, he has to go back to the dungeon now to grab the alchemy stone, and there's a couple of synthesis materials. Well, not synthesis materials, but items that he needs in item creation.
I got smithery material drops, so I don't need those.
Okay, yeah. So normally you grab smithery materials, and there's synthesis materials here because you need those for item creation. In item creation, when you want to refine an item, which is to say you want to improve the factors, or in this case you want to duplicate the attack 500 factor, you need a corresponding material in order to do it, so that's why he needs the smithery materials. And the way the smithery materials, or the materials work, is that as long as you remain inside the item creation menu until it succeeds, it does not consume the material on use. So you can wait it out for as long as you want, but if you don't have the money for it, then kind of. But yeah, he needs the alchemy stone. Now he's gonna run all the way around. Since he got the drops on the smithery materials, he doesn't need to grab those chests anymore. So it saves a little bit of time from the movement as well as not needing to open the chest. Also, good question. Has DDR ever raced you in this game, either?
I don't think that would be fair.
I don't think so either.
Because DDR would probably smoke me if you had to sit down and actually learn the game. Because DDR is a god gamer.
I have faith in my boy DDR with his top tier SO4 microing.
Yeah, like I watch DDR all the time when he's running SO4, and like he actually has some Korean tier micro skills in SO4. You're gonna really like that run.
Yeah.
Okay, at least Chinese then.
He puts us to shame. In case you don't know, DDR is also he's also Canadian. So he's my boy. He's also Asian just like me, and he puts me to shame with his top tier microing. I'm just like 20 APM, that's good enough for me. Alright, so we're finally gonna head back into town at this point. Yeah, we did all that just to go to the conference, but now that we've done the conference and everything, they're like, okay, well, we're going to talk to we need to figure out a way to combine our technologies together so we can defeat these enemies that are troubling the world, which is LE Core, when I say the world. So they have to go all the way back to Aeroglyph now. Unfortunately, you have to actually walk there. There's no transport or anything. So this is kind of why, to me, really after the first hour and a half of the game, it's not as interesting anymore. There's just quite a bit of backtracking, and you're not really doing anything like particularly interesting because there's not a lot of stuff you can do to make Fate move faster. You just run. And
Fate
try
is
not to turn perpendicular because then Fate loses momentum, and that's about it.
Even if you could change the character that you see on screen, Fate is the fastest. So you wouldn't even change the character on the screen anyway.
Yeah.
Also, yes, DDR, Tide, and myself are indeed Asian.
Yeah.
If you don't consider Filipino Asian, I got Chinese in me as well. So
We're the Asian invasion crew. Trice Games.
Trice boys. Yeah, we got a Discord now. So you guys wanna chat, learn about the game, actually get the free world record in this game, and please join it after the relay. SO4 is free? Yeah, sure. I think that's like the one SO game that's not free. Aside from 2, I guess, because Mochigome runs the US version.
Before our boy DDR went and made it all execution heavy, so it's actually pretty interesting now because there's a lot of movement stuff with edge dashing, and then you have to be able to execute well, or if you die, which is great. So yeah, it used to be that you didn't have to do that, but I remember when Pitt had held the world record for SO4, he was like, yeah, it's completely free if you just put in a little effort. And the first time DDR ran the game after he routed it, he beat it by like 15 minutes or something. It was pretty ridiculous. Then he went and rerouted it again, and time is now like 2:45 or something. But we're getting off topic. We're talking too much about SO4. I'm sure DDR can tell us his tales of rerouting it during the actual run for SO4. Although really, you're not really missing much in the game right now, because all Aether is doing is walking back to Eriglyph. So once he's actually inside Eriglyph, he has to go to the castle, and he's going to talk to Walter, because that's going to be slightly faster than moving to the location that he actually needs to go. There's a smithy materials located inside the base of the tower, but again, if he already has it, he's not going to go grab it. It's just, you don't need to do that. And once you go through that cutscene, you can leave the, you can leave the castle. But before you leave the castle, you have to, actually, I don't think you have to do anything right now. I'm thinking of later when you have to grab the light stone. We're not there yet. So I'm getting ahead of myself.
Oh yeah, SO3 is definitely a backtrack simulator. Not only that part, but this too.
Oh yes, there's a lot of backtracking, and yeah, it's part of the reason why I think it kills the game for me. You
have to do like 2 dungeons again in this too, and it's like, really?
Yeah, it's the exact same dungeons, but the enemies are stronger. And they have DDR's favorite enemy, the D20.
Though I think nothing can top the backtracking in SO1 where you have to go through the same place like 4 times. It's pretty great.
It's true, you have to backtrack quite a bit in this one.
Or if we like go away from the Star Ocean series a little bit, there's also VP2.
Yeah,
this is pretty bad.
It does have some backtracking. I don't think it's as bad because it's just one section, and if you know the movement tricks, which you obviously do, because you should be speedrunning VP2.
Wow.
Well, I have word on the street from my boy Aether that said you should play an easy game like VP2.
Easy game.
Quote 2016.
Well, somebody still hasn't got me the notes, so there's that whole thing.
I haven't finished those.
You don't need notes for that game, man. It doesn't matter if you have notes. It just kills you if it wants to.
Sanic, why?
All you need to know. Oh, Sanic. Sanic is great. Oh yeah, so the hedgehogs in this game, their hitboxes is ridiculous. Like, you can be like 10, 12 pixels away from them and you'll still run to an encounter. And it's great because sometimes the camera will zoom in on the hedgehog for like another 10 seconds. So you lose like 20 seconds just from running into the hedgehog. The gauge break on the porcupine. If you run away during a random encounter, you'll lose gauge breaks. This is why in the first hour of the game it is critical that you do not run to any extra encounters. Because otherwise you have to fight it, and it sucks. And no, it would not be more efficient to kill it and keep gauge, because at this point he doesn't need the bonus gauge really anymore.
Yeah, nothing here really gives me EXP that helps me that much. It's faster to run because I have to like actually fight it, and then you have the victory screen, which also takes time. So
that was a very good Blue Dragon Zombie fight.
Yeah.
So Blue Dragon Zombie, he has a aura around him, and if you touch the aura, then it drains magic, or sorry, it drains your mana. And I think we already talked about that MP in this game. If you go to 0, you will die, incapacitated. So it can be a problem for Cliff because his MP is a little bit lower, but as you can see, Cliff didn't take a single damage there. If you're using Fate, it's actually quite possible to run out of MP because Fate has to use Psychic, which means that when he's recovering from Psychic, he gets hit by the aura. So it's possible to get Fate killed there.
Well, if you're really fast on your inputs, you can also dodge with Fate, but it's really fast. It's like a frame perfect thing.
Well, typically you have enough MP anyway that you can take like 1 or 2 shots from the aura damage and Fate is still fine because his MP is higher than Cliff's. But if I remember correctly, there's a way you need to start up the Psychic properly, because otherwise he stands in the aura for like 2-3 seconds or something, so he takes like 3 ticks for it to start up, and that really sucks because you can't be affording to take that many hits at the start of the fight, because Fate has like just enough MP to clear it. Also, here comes the worst part of the game, in my opinion. Fucking Dragonfly. Sorry.
Language.
I have to cuss there because this part of the game is awful, and if you go back and replay it, you'll be remembering yourself why it is bad. So in order to open these doors, you have to press down on the X button with certain
X button.
sensitivity. Yeah, X button.
Nice
Control
Japanese
button.
controls.
Quiet you. Quiet you. Yeah, in case you don't know, I reversed the controls because I spent like 300 hours in this game when I played the Japanese version. So I'm really used to the reverse controls at this point. So it's the X button for me, but I guess it's a circle button in for Aether. So yeah, you have to press the button in the corresponding pressure sensitivity, and if you've played a Chinese game in the PS2 era, you would know that this function is not that great. So it is really, really easy to mess up. The fact that Aether gets this pretty consistently, I think is a testament to how much he has practiced this part.
Well, gentlemen, I have to go for a little bit. I'll try to be back by SO4 if you're running the errand.
Alright, Garrett.
Alright, see you, sir.
I'll see you guys later.
Alright, see you later, Garrett. 1, 2. The green doors are the ones that make me nervous.
Yeah, so if you fail a door, you force into an encounter. And the encounters, I think, are set for each door. So sometimes you'll run into 2 dragons and a wyvern, or you'll run into like 2 dragons alone, or sometimes 1 dragon. But either way, you can't escape from these battles. So they kind of suck. Especially if you don't have a quick way of taking care of them. So I actually don't know how the rear route handles this if you mess things up, but in Fate route, you have to psychic all of them that you mess up. Which takes a while.
Aerial assault usually takes care of them. It's just,
Does
you know.
Maria route use Cliff? I actually don't know how Maria route works.
Yeah, it uses Cliff.
Alright. So yeah, there's your answer how you're supposed to do it.
Because
I know you don't run into a single encounter, so don't
Oh.
mess up any of the doors, but yeah, like, it's really easy to mess up because the pressure sensitivity isn't that great. And in case you're wondering what he's doing, he has to step on these floor tiles to activate the switch in the center. So the door to the next area doesn't open, hit all the floor switches. And in order to do that, he has to go through all these different rooms that have these pressure sensitivity doors serving as barriers. And then once he has all of that open, he needs to grab the dragon cranium.
and I raise it over my head.
Yeah, apparently that's how the switches work. We talked about the ring of disintegration resetting.
Yep.
Okay. Just to make sure that people know what you're doing instead of wondering how you're warping back and forth to the exit.
It's probably one of the better speed techs of this game.
Yeah. I think it's actually like the only movement-related speed tech, which is kind of sad. But
Nice
it's pretty
Thunder
neat
Flare.
because you can play around with it to figure out where you can jump back to an entry point. Oh boy, and here comes another boss. So in
Holy
this,
boss.
yeah, this particular route you do slightly different because normally in Fate route you have to use Maria for this because this boss has significantly lower MP than HP. So you want to kill it through MP damage, but if you're using Fate, Fate doesn't have a good MP damage move other than the Elemental Swords. And unfortunately, Robin Wind, I think, resists like all elements or something. So he doesn't take a lot of MP damage from Fate's enchantments. So you have to use Maria for aiming device. Obviously in the route that Aether's using right now, he has Aerial Assault. And Aerial Assault has a beastly multiplier. So he just foot stomps him, and
Foot
that
dive.
takes care of him. Yeah, the foot dive.
Dive kick. Dive kick.
That's what it's called. Just pretend you're playing Street Fighter 3 Third Strike. And you're Yoon, just step all over the guy.
Or Yang.
Don't get anti-aired.
Oh, a Triace.
So he went to the right to grab the rabbit Year's Chalice. He needs that to open the door to a bunny guy. Not the pink bunny guy, it's just a regular bunny guy. Apparently the bunny guy's a mechanic, and the best one in the world right now.
Aside from the robot that you have to do a side quest for.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't count because he requires a side quest for it. Also, nice Triace, I have to say.
Yeah.
That was pretty
Well,
amazing.
I somehow went through the whole walking ascension without a Triace, and then that happened.
Yeah, I was surprised. When were we gonna get a nice Triace?
So the other thing that he did is he used a Jewel of Refuge to freeze all the enemies here. So in particular, the fire demons, they move really, really fast. So if you don't have a Jewel of Refuge, you'll probably end up getting caught by one because the corridors are pretty narrow. Also, the firemen or the lava men have really big hitboxes, so you want to freeze them as well, so that you can run around them. Because otherwise, you can get caught. And we've already talked about how counters can waste a lot of time, so you really don't want to get into those.
Yeah, it's like nearly impossible to dodge things in that area.
Yeah, like they move a lot faster, and the lava men are a lot bigger than them. It's actually very, very deceptive.
And
So the
like,
button-
the corridors are all narrow.
Yeah, that's really the big killer. Like the fact that the corridors are narrow means that you can't. It's impossible to kite them. Because Fate also has a bit of a startup for his run. So even though you're holding in one direction, especially if you're going perpendicular, he will lose momentum and then shift directions, and then he needs to reaccelerate to go to the new direction. So it's like impossible to kite them. Also, the bunny asks you how much you're gonna pay for his product. You have to answer either 10 or 30. And since the money is really tight, you say 10, because you don't get anything by telling him that you pay him $30,000.
Yeah.
If you only pay him 1,000, he just laughs at you. Because you're a
Yeah.
cheapskate.
Yeah, he laughs at you for being cheap.
Yeah.
He's like, "You so funny." But it's just, yeah, you don't want to choose 1,000 because you just lose time.
Yeah, you could, and then you have to redo that cutscene again,
Yep.
which is pretty great. Also, you know that he has the Gutsy Bunny in his inventory? I await the day that some poor soul equips the Gutsy Bunny by accident and gets to do a fight.
Yeah, because what it actually does, for those of you who don't know, it raises, like, since I'm on Galaxy, right? It pretty much raises the difficulty of boss mobs to like 4D status. Like, it really buffs them up.
It's great.
And since you don't have like the no move glitch that you have in Universe and 4D, it's arguably the hardest thing to do in the game for fights. Equip a Gutsy Bunny on Galaxy.
Well, it's even better because we're doing speedrun strats, so everybody is like under-equipped, you don't have as much levels, you don't really have the agility to like break past enemy evade or whatnot, so like, if you have that equipped on and you get into a boss battle, you are pretty much dead before the fight even starts. The best part is, you won't know until you actually fight the battle. I think you can de-equip the Gutsy Bunny mid-battle, but I don't know if that actually changes anything.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I think once you get into a battle, it's
So-
also, I haven't talked about the way you run past the Berserker
Please excuse
guy
me.
is you have to move to the like left side of the rock if you're coming in onto the room from the north side. So apparently his AI doesn't lock onto you as long as you use the rock as like a barrier. It's weird, but it like always works.
Nice trace.
Yo, sick.
It's
And
13?
yeah, he just recruited a Misty Leer, so that's the other part of the equation that you need to get the Ori Helcom at this point. And that should specify, you can get the Ori Helcom like later on, but obviously for the speedrun you want to get it as soon as possible because it's such a big power surge. So in order to do that, you kind of have to run with the team that can just make the item and have like just enough money for it. And luckily for us, you can talk to this god of the Wyvern, and he will teleport you back to Eriglyph, which is where we sent the inventors. Because if you sent the inventors to other places, you have to do an additional menu to move the inventors into Eriglyph. And since we need to grab something in this place anyway, we're gonna kill two birds with one stone. So the bunny tasks you with getting an item called the glowstone, in order to create the Ring of Disintegration, which you need in order to reach the giant dragon that lives in the volcano, which is, according to the Alacorians, their best way of taking care of the invaders is to get the cooperation of the giant dragon. So you need to get the glowstone, which requires you to backtrack to Aeroglyph. Since we need to do item creation anyway, we're going to do it in Aeroglyph.
Is it time?
Yep.
For salt, yeah.
For salt.
For salt,
Oh boy.
the salt man, it's real.
Oh, was that one of the values? Yeah, it was. Whoops.
Yeah, I should laugh at this because it's really easy to make that mistake because you're just scrolling through the items and looking for the item value. So the number he's looking for is between 4,700 and like 5,350, I think.
4845 to 5415. And it's
Yeah.
not an exact range. There are 11 numbers that work. So you have to actually know what the 11 numbers are. I actually learned this recently.
You
So
just
it's-
need to know what the range is, I think. That's
Oh,
really
no.
the big thing.
No, because there are some numbers in the range that won't work. Because there's an actual formula. 5244,
That's
that's
pretty
right.
funny.
Yeah, so I actually
Yeah.
fixed that up in my notes.
Yeah, well, it used to be we used to think that you only need to be within a range to get it. And I don't know, but like some items have like a cross range, which really sucks. But I think Ori Halcom is one of those where the cross ranges don't really apply. So usually it's pretty easy to tell what it's going to be. So he's going to use the other two lines to build other items. The third line is going to be building more stun bombs.
Duck bombs.
Duck bombs, yeah. So he needs a team of Cliff Fate and Albel to make that. Then we're gonna put Nell on her own team because you don't need any talent rating for synthesis and anybody can do it. And Nell has a time minus 5% factor. So she takes less time to make certain items. And if you're wondering how time works in the item creation process, you can think of it as like an overhead cost. So after a certain amount of time has passed, you lose a certain amount of money. So you can use less time to make the item, then you'll save money overall. Less time to make the item, then you'll save money overall. So Nell, in a way, does save money, but it's not a direct time save. And we made the Ori Halcom like third try, which is really good. Because sometimes you can wait for like 15 tries or something and you don't make it. And that pretty much kills your run. So he's going to use the base equipment from Cliff to reduce the cost of synthesizing. Because the cost increases based on how good your weapon is. So if you try to synth this with like the Crest Gauntlets, which you get at the end of the game, the cost is something like 20k per synthesis. But here, because he's using the Mighty Gauntlets, which is like the first item you get, it's only like 2k, 4k, which is a lot more reasonable. So he's gonna synthesize the -2 Fury from the Pulse Gun, which decreases the Fury cost on battle skills and allows him to extend combos, which means that you get more damage off when you do your cancel combos. Then he's going to attach the attack 5%, which, because we only have a certain amount of smithing materials, it also helps to reduce the cost while increasing the attack power by a reasonable amount.
Did my game literally freeze? Oh, Lord.
Yo, suck. I don't think he even safety saved, which is great.
No, I saved. But
Did you?
yeah, I
'Cause I
did.
don't think I saw it.
No, I saved.
Alright, if you said so, if you say so. That means you get to redo the item creation process again, which is great because it went so well.
That's
that
like-
We'll chalk that up as the 14th try-ace.
So that is basically a tri-ace.
That is probably one of the best item creation sessions I've seen.
Yeah, and then it
Wow. Like,
and
it
then
was
it
really fast.
it was
and
really
honestly,
fast, and then the
he-
game was like,
he
nope.
screwed over.
The game's like, nope.
That was really unfortunate.
So he gets to redo the item creation again, and we'll see how long it takes this time. And you can see why this part is just pure salt, because I have my money betting on the fact that he's gonna run out of money the second attempt because the first one went so well.
I went over the speed limit. SO3 is the speed police.
Speed police.
I mean, I heard sirens earlier. I don't know if my microphone picked that up.
Oh gosh. That's pretty great. Oh,
Actual speed police are here.
what is CV in the chat? I doubt it. Though he has better internet now.
I don't think CB even watches speedruns anymore.
He's not in chat.
Yeah, I doubt it. The man is busy. It's the unfortunate thing when you start moving on with real life. Speedrunning is one of those things that really, if you have a lot of time on your hands, that's kind of where all the good stuff happens. Because you need time to practice, you need time to do runs. If you don't have either, so you're kind of stuck with being whatever. Just hope everything goes well.
Now I'm not getting the value. Oh, there we go.
This is why this part is just pure undistilled salt. Like, it doesn't matter how good the rest of your run was, you get to this part, it's pure RNG. There's nothing you can do about it. And if you just get unlucky enough, you lose all the time you gained beforehand, and your run dies from item creation. So, this is truly the best way to showcase your last run, my friend.
Yeah.
To show people why this is such a thing with this game.
Bon voyage, apparently.
It's not even one of those things where it's like it's frustrating, but you can somewhat control it. It's just, this is just like, oh, the game just says no, and then you're just dead. It's not even because you died in combat, it's because you ran out of money.
Yeah. I mean, since you can save, like, I do single second runs usually, so this is where the run dies usually.
Yeah, and I was touching about this earlier beforehand, you don't need to make, like, the best item. You can get by with, like, 1900 attack power, but it does make the late game a little bit riskier, and if you want to go back and resynth it, then you lose, like, another minute, because you can't actually resynth the weapon. But, again, it's the time cost, and you have to evaluate whether or not you really want to go for that.
That was a good orichalcum.
Yeah, but now we're about to get into the other part.
The problem with this is that the item creation process is not over until you get the weapon or you run out of money. So it doesn't really matter how good everything else is beforehand, even within item creation. You can't duplicate the factor 4 times within a reasonable amount of time. Probably just lost about 2 to 3 minutes just to item creation. If you don't have the weapon, at that point you have to decide for yourself whether or not you really want to go forward. Because you know you're going to be losing time on almost every single split, just because your weapon is just not as strong as it could be. I actually don't know the probability of what the chances of getting the weapon are before you run out of money, but I do know that in the old versions of the routes, like Pidit used to grab a lot more full chests just because of this.
Yeah,
and yes,
but
in case you're wondering, Pidit didn't save either, but Aether's logic is that if you have to spend all that money to get the weapon, probably lost too much time. Which is fair, I think.
I think so too.
Yeah. You could safety save like we were saying beforehand, or you could continue with a weaker weapon. Both of those are okay, like stuff you can do, but it's just you lose time from doing it. Which is why, again, this part is just pure salt.
Oh dear.
Pure salt.
yeah, after you fail like a couple times trying to get the second one, you just move on. Because what the quality does here is just pretty much like a timer, essentially. Because it doesn't, I don't think it actually affects the chances for specified plan.
Yeah, it doesn't factor in for refining as far as I know, but for making an item, so if you're actually creating an item, it's like a probability multiplier that you have to multiply your success rate through. So even though like the orichalcum was at 25% from calculations, if your quality bar starts dropping, then you have to factor that in. So your chances of making your orichalcum become smaller as the quality decreases. In the case of
Nice try, Ace.
refining,
Team?
suck. As I was saying, in the case of refining, it really is just like a timer, because once the quality runs out, then you actually lose a material for synthesis. But you have to lose like a lot of, like, it takes a really long time for that to happen. Yo, sick. I think you're gonna set a new high score. You're 15.
Crash on the save point. Yeah, I was expecting that too.
We are not on
You're
this
gonna do it
too.
again!
No, we're not even on. We're not on this too.
If you get to do it again, I'll be.
I'd be laughing,
So
honestly.
would I. I'll be like, this is the best run to showcase why.
This is gonna be on YouTube.
Why nobody else seems to be touching this game. Even though everybody's like, this is such a great game. I wonder why nobody speedruns it.
My advice to you, if you want to speedrun this game, make sure you have a good disc. If your disc is like old and has scratches, I wouldn't suggest running on that. You want to minimize the chance of getting a tri-ace, obviously.
You also
And-
want to make sure your PS2 isn't a broken piece of crap. That is also important.
Yeah,
Arguably more important
That's-
than having a good disc.
that's fair.
Still have no idea what caused my FO4 problems.
Yeah, I don't know that about that either, but
Fairly sure it's due to do with my PS3 overheating, I guess. The only plausible explanation.
Is
like,
something
see,
wrong
I
with
know
your
that
fan?
I know that my PS2 has a loading problem because it gets tri-aces on every game, especially games that you're not supposed to get tri-aces on.
Yeah, I don't get loading errors like this on other games that I run, so it's probably my disc, maybe. Like a disc and then, you know, being on a slim.
It's a sign that you're supposed to move on, my friend. It's trying to tell you, your life with this game is.
It wasn't meant to
go
be.
away. It needs to go on hiatus, and then you can bring it back.
Maybe like retire.
You bring it back like a year or two later.
Yeah, probably with a new disc.
Yeah, so we have to go back to the buddy now because we have the glowstone.
Rip Freda.
He's gonna create the ring of disintegration for us.
Oh. I forgot it. That's funny.
You forgot it! Oh my god!
Good thing I saved, right?
Oh man, that is a true Ellie giggle.
Yeah, I was like so relieved after and so panicked after that item creation that I forgot literally the reason why we need to get here.
Oh man. Item creation has done this to Iker.
Item creation is making me senile, guys. I'm sorry.
No man, this is what happens in marathon runs. It's like you anticipate something to happen, and then you completely forget about the thing you're doing or you're supposed to do, and then you just lose like a gazillion years. Because that's what happened to me.
Well, a good thing I had a save, so I only lost like maybe 3 minutes.
Not that much time.
Yeah, considering I'm already like plus 30, basically.
Yeah, I think you finished this. You finished this one like 159 or something.
No, I had a pretty bad disc one in my PB.
You sure about that?
Yeah, it was a 2-0 something cross-L.
I thought you got the cross L, but maybe that was just
But my disc 2 was godlike, so
godlike.
yeah.
That's alright though. Yeah, that's the other thing. When you're actually speedrunning any type of game. Like people say that RPGs don't require like execution or anything like that, but you have to remember like where you need to go and like what strategies you have to employ.
I
So
think
it's
this
not like it's completely brain dead, because stuff like this happens.
tri-ace games, I would argue, are probably the more execution-heavy runs
Yeah.
in general.
They're more intense in general.
Like in RPGs, you know, it's usually mainly remembering menus and what to do when RNG doesn't go your way. In this, like, you actually have a lot of inputs, thoughtful inputs to have in the course of an entire run.
My thought is that like if you're trying to run any game, there's always going to be some execution element. So just say the fact that it's an RPG, so therefore there's no execution required, I think is a very ignorant thing to say.
Especially with action RPGs like the Star Wars
Yeah,
series.
like Star Ocean series, Tales series, like they have probably more execution than people anticipate them to have. I think even for like games where it's like turn-based combat, like Final Fantasy X, like there's still execution to how quickly you're putting in your menu commands, going through the sphere grid and whatnot. So it's not like it's completely brain dead, which seems to be the consensus, unfortunately.
I feel like you can like see your mistakes easier on turn-based rather than action RPGs. Because action RPGs, you have to react quicker if you make a mistake.
I think so too, but one of the things, and Star Ocean 3 is not the best example of this, but the mistake Arthur made just now, I think illustrates this really well, is that because RPGs tend to be longer than a lot of action games, the amount of endurance and just the mindset that you need is totally different. Like if you've watched High Spirits or like Dragon Quest VIII, the game's like 12 hours, right? Like you have to focus for 12 hours, and if you do some really stupid thing that's maybe very minor, it can be very, very costly in terms of time or even just losing. And in this case, it's just time loss, but like, imagine if he didn't have to save, he has to walk all the way back, which is a really significant time loss.
Music Craigasm.
You just have to, it's just not as easy, I think, as people say. It's like anything requires practice, but maybe it doesn't need as much practice as like other type of games, but it's not for free. And yeah, at this point you have item creation, so there's really not much to say for boss strategies. Like, it's just like you do a battle skill, you do like 20,000 damage. Bosses at this point don't have that much HP, so you just one shot. It used to be that in the Fate route, you used to only carry Fate and Maria for experience reasons, but when you're using Clip, because he already has the battle skills that he needs for like the rest of the game, you don't have to do the extra manually, so you save a little bit of time there. Nice, like almost 60,000 damage by the way.
Alright, I'll be back.
Yep.
Yeah, that's why we have to toil in item creation, because you will not be able to do that much damage with a regular weapon.
Yeah. Like the progression kind of goes from getting Berserk, or sorry, getting good battle skills, getting Berserk, to getting item creation, and then blowing up the game really badly. It's also part of the reason why the late game is not as interesting, in my opinion. That kind of kills the interest for me. Is Scatter Beams faster? No, actually. I believe, I forget the exact reason why, but I think Aether's looked this up before. It has to do with the combination of needing to power up Scatter Beams to do more damage, and Maria needing to be in the late melee range, and the fact that Maria's not very good movement-wise, and she's not good at interruption, means that she can get killed pretty easily. I think it's a combination of those factors.
Yeah, since the Japanese runners use Maria at the end because she's potentially faster because of magnetic field, being able to hit a bunch of enemies, because there are some fights like that, she can just as easily get AA'd, and if you get AA'd by Crocell, it's homing, so you could literally just wipe on the boss if you get unlucky.
I remember that happened to Pink Buddy Guy. It's pretty great. Goes to item creation and then just dies to Crocell because he triggered the anti-attack aura by accident. Yeah, so in Maria route, like Maria's big weakness is that she can't interrupt the opponents that well, which means that they'll probably be able to launch counterattacks because they won't be flinching. And Maria is not very durable, so she tends to be a little bit frailer, although she theoretically has the best DPS. But that means that you need to go through this too, and you need to bring in Cliff, and you need to bring in Sophia, and they both need to live for triple EXP so that they can get more battle skills, just from the experience that you get. So it tends to be more execution heavy on the Maria route.
Yeah,
Also, according to science, which Aether has conducted, apparently Fate route is faster anyway at that point, so if you're really swapping routes, like Fate route's better than Maria route at that point.
Cliff's route is fastest if you're super lucky, because he can do the same things as Maria and deal more damage in a shorter amount of time because of aerial assault. Alright, this too.
Cliff is like the really good character that I think people don't really realize that he's that good. I mean, people who play on 4D are like, yeah, he's great because like Hammer Fight, but no, Cliff is just like a beast already. He's like really, really good. Like great battle skills and like he doesn't really have that many weaknesses other than like a low MP pool.
What?
And there's like a grand total of like 5 enemies in the main game that do MP damage anyway.
Oh, I forgot to talk to Cliff. Rip.
Job.
I was like, why wasn't I getting the message? Oh, because I forgot to talk to Cliff, who's all the way down there for whatever reason. Yeah, there
Yeah,
you
this
go.
game has a lot of event triggers like this, so it's really easy to forget them and you haven't ran it for a little while. And yes, this is after the cutscene where Fate shoots a laser beam from his head. In fact, that happened a while ago.
This is on PS2 because I'm getting triaces everywhere. I wouldn't get any if I was on emulator. What?
Or you can be like the Japanese runners and run on like not SSID, but the thing where like it's like loaded onto your system.
Oh, the
Literally not, like,
the
instant loading.
the Japanese version of this game has native hard drive support for the PS2.
Yeah, there we go. Hard drive support.
Yeah. So, if they so choose to, they can use the hard drive, and it's actually a toggleable option like full active mode.
You're gonna be seeing a lot of one-hit KOs from this point on, just because the enemies, like, yeah, you have like a 3,100 weapon, and enemies right now, like, don't have that much HP because the game doesn't expect you to do item creation, which is totally fair. So when you combine that with Berserk and you combine that with cancel bonuses, like your damage just escalates to the point where you pretty much take enemies out in like 1 or 2 hits. It's why item creation becomes a necessary part of the run. If item creation wasn't in it, it would probably be a lot more micro intensive.
Yeah, we probably would have to actually use Sophia, because you probably might need the stun locks, just to have smooth fights.
Yeah, you probably need like Sophia stun the flare and Cliff using Disappear just to
and
lock things down.
And then you use Maria for damage. It's a interesting setup for Maria as well, because you use like Lotus Kick, Magnetic Field, Scatter Beams, Aiming Device, depending on the fight.
Yeah, but we don't do that because this is easy street, so we just use Cliff and make him foot dive on everything. He's game.
Yeah, this game crashed on me twice. I'm like, that's new.
It's
New and
not fair,
exciting.
man. You're experiencing it firsthand. You know what to expect for RPG LB 2017.
How many triaces have we had? Just the 16?
Like 16, yeah.
Yeah.
He's about to reach a new high score.
I'm already at a new high score.
No, you're not.
Yeah?
You
No, not the world record.
Oh, I mean, well, not world record, of course.
World record for
Triaces,
Don't
yeah.
worry, you got like another hour to go.
How long was SO2 in the end?
5:15.
5 hours, 15 minutes.
Yeah, 15 minutes over his PB. Oh, like 12 minutes.
I'll have it up on my layout when I do SO4, if that's okay with everyone.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, you probably shouldn't listen to me because I'm not really even running any of the games. I'm just here to throw more salt. Game.
Let's throw more salt at the game, agreed.
Yo,
Throwing-
that's what this game is. It's a salt simulator.
Yeah, I try to go through the fights really fast so I don't have to hear that song. Especially. That like motivates me to like actually do well on those fights. Cause that song is awful.
I third confirmed to be a hater.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, for RPGLB, karaoke bitter dance is going to be best. Whether it's
Goodness.
people not wanting you to sing it, or people wanting you to sing it.
I'd rather sing Space Jam.
Yo, exactly. See, there you go. There you go.
Oh, I forgot the menu.
Oh yeah, the menu's kind of important, I think.
Well,
If I'm
not
correct.
that menu. It's like
No. Oh yeah, I'm misremembering. You're just going to move base now. I was thinking you're going to fight the 4D juggling soldiers of death.
oh no, I'm basically doing that menu at the same time.
Eternal Sphere Security.
Try security, yeah.
Yeah, so he's gonna swap back using charge. Because the next several fights are all grounded enemies, and when you're on the ground, Due to the fact that Aerial Assault has a larger startup, and the fact that it doesn't chain into itself immediately, Charge ends up being a faster battle skill.
And they can like instantly kill you if
Yeah.
you're vulnerable. So
at this point, we go to the moon base because after the events of the first disc, where we strap a giant cannon on top of a dragon to fight off some alien invaders, Maria tells Fate that they need to go back to figure out more about what his father's experiment is doing, because Fate is being hunted by these guys. So he takes her up on her offer. So you end up going to moon base, and you have the entire thing where you go back to LE4 because like find out that Fate's parents was captured there. But then his parents die as a result of confrontation, so now you just go to the moon base to figure out what the research is. That's why you're here.
yeah, Moonbase is really short if you're just gonna try and finish it.
Just going through it.
Yeah. If you want to like branch out and actually get the really nice chests around here, it takes a while. Still not that bad. It's still not that bad though.
So nice 50,000 damage in like 2 hits.
Yep.
But yeah, that's why there's no, well, like I was saying before, there's not a lot of interesting commentary for the bosses after item creation. Like you just it's really self-explanatory. You use 2 battle skills and you wreck the crap out of them. That's about it.
Or it's aerial assault.
Yeah, or it's aerial assault. Did you talk about how aerial assault has 2 versions, by the way?
I don't really use the second version. There's
I'll
usually
just
not
cover it.
no reason to use it.
I'll just cover it just for completion's sake. So when you use aerial assault when Cliff is in the air, you can actually change it to a version where he lands with his fist down. So when he lands with his fist down, it creates a shockwave instead of him foot diving. And the shockwave can hit twice, but the multiplier on it is reduced. So the main reason why you would do that is because it has a wider area of effect, and if you notice that the enemies ran out of your range, that you would use the fist version to make sure you hit them. But, I mean, for the purposes of the run, you're probably not going to see it that much, because we're going to try to find ways so that you hit them with the actual foot dive, because that's the part that deals the most damage.
That's new to me, the second version.
Yeah, it's useful in, especially in casual, when you fight randoms and like sometimes they're all over the base. Sorry, not base.
I really like the Moonbase music.
Yeah, this is the best track in the game in my opinion.
And we don't
There's
take
also
Capita.
the voice remix as well.
What remix?
The voice mix.
There's apparently, yeah, there's apparently a bunch of vocal
like,
versions.
Voiceover, along with the musicals that are enhanced from the original.
Yeah. So when you're on Moonbase, Pepita, you rejoin with her again, and she wants to join your team, but you do not want to add Pepita to your party because when you add Pepita to the party, it increases the length of several cutscenes. So you want to make sure she's not in the party. It used to be that you also don't want to take Pepita with you because you need to manipulate experience so that Fate gets to level 40 by the time you reach the final dungeon. But in this route, I don't think it's as important for levels. So you theoretically could add her in the party, but yeah, it just adds extra time on the cutscenes. So there's just no reason to add her to the party.
Damn, my stream is buffering now.
Rip.
I'm just trying to figure out what's happening 10 seconds in the future.
The thing about the experience with Fate is that you would like level 40 on Fate for this route too, so you can just use raw air raid to interrupt enemies, but it's not needed because if you weren't manipulating EXP beforehand, you would need triple experience to get level 40, which gives Fate air raid, which is important.
Yeah, the big, again, we talked about this before, but the big thing in this game is that because of the limited experience that you do get from doing force fights, keeping your triple EXP gauge around is never a bad thing. But the farther down the level tree you need to get the experience, the more you have to be able to preserve your battle gauge, which means that you can play a better game overall, and the game has to be nicer to you, so it just makes things more difficult. And yeah, in this route, it's not as necessary because you already have all the battle skills. Cliff is kind of your point man, so it doesn't really matter if Fate gets the level. That's nice if he does, but if he doesn't, it's not a huge loss.
And die easy here, so...
Yeah, we're about to get to the security guards. So
Yeah,
before...
if you get triple EXP in the Shrine of Kadan, you'll get level 40 pretty quickly. And if you get a higher level from triple EXP, you can run faster from things, so it's really nice to have.
So yeah, you guys remember the time gate in Star Ocean 1? It makes a return here.
Yeah, it's at the very end. DDR can cover the lore. I'm just going to talk about the 40 guys, because we're about to fight them. So, I'm pretty sure Aether already did the menu, but if he did, he's going to do it. Hint, hint. What he's going to do is he's going to shift the formation of the party into escape, so that everybody is going to be near the corner at the very start. This makes it such that you will be able to recover a little fury before the enemies reach you, because every enemy in this game has a minimum range of when they can attack. And it's important in this case because you start off with the 40 security fights, the first one anyway, in an ambush. So if you don't have the formation set, you'll be surrounded, and the guards are just going to, like, swarm you with their guns. If you've played this game before, you know those guards are complete assholes. So they have a fierce attack where they just shoot like 20 bazillion shots, and each of those shots can guard break you, and once they hit you, you start flinching, then they just juggle you to death and stun lock you, so yeah, they're a big pain. So, as you can see, he starts off in the corner, which makes it such that he's able to recover a little bit of stamina before the enemies really attack, and then he's gonna, use AoE to take care of it. So in the old versions of the route where you use Fate, you used to set Fate on auto, and then you control Cliff and do the AoE, because these enemies actually only have like 600 HP, so they go down really fast, but you need to actually get a attack in to take them out. So by setting Fate to auto in the old route, because he's your god that he's powered up, the AI can use him decently enough, because all they have to do is to just hit the guy, then you just move Cliff to the right area and take out the enemies. And in this case, you just manual Cliff and use the other two as meat shields while you throw hammers.
Oh yeah, Star Ocean is a game. That's your lore. I don't know why they didn't run with that with SO5, but whatever. I thought that could have been a pretty cool game concept instead of more magic and swords and whatever. So remember how I did a shopping menu like 2 hours ago? Yeah, I get to do another one here, and it's the last one we do for the entire run.
The nice thing about this game is that all the shopping menus are really easy. Like, if you've played any other or watched any other RPGs, like some of the shopping menus are just terrifying. Like, it's part of the reason why I will never run Final Fantasy IX, because that list of shame, man.
The list of shame, selling the wrong thing at the wrong time, yeah.
The list of shame in FF9, for those of you that don't know. It's a list kept by Resident Chuckulator. And it's a list of all the mistakes that all the FF9 runners have made in that shop menu, where you sell something unnecessary, and it can either cost you a run, or it can just slow you down a lot. So, like, what I'm aware of is, like, items like the diamond gloves is completely necessary to beat the game, so if you sold it by accident, then you can't finish the game. And that did actually happen to even prominent runners, like Huaxo mentioned once he sold the diamond gloves by accident. So the menus, shopping menus in this game are really easy. So that's the good thing, and which is why when Ifa said that this is kind of like a newbie-friendly game, I kind of agree with that. Like, there's parts of it where it's really easy, like this too is really easy, but if you're trying to get like a really good time, then like every other game, it requires effort and a bit of luck. And the first disc, in my opinion, is like the first half anyway, is a little more difficult. So after you talk to everybody, and you have Pepita there, you have to run around and talk to her. But after you talk to everybody, because you're just reprogramming yourself into the game, the Eternal Sphere, you select the first choice, which takes you back to Vanguard 3, and you just head to the exit. And you do that because Vanguard 3 is the fastest of the options.
No, because it's at the top. It's at the top of the list.
Yeah, it's the fast of the options. If you do anything else, you have to put more inputs in.
Went past the infamous turn in the story.
I'm leaving the lore to you, man. You get to do the last game and summarize it for everybody.
So we're gonna go to Square
I don't know.
Enix.
You don't know? I don't think it's important, though. I think people, when they found out what the plot is of the game, they got really angry with it. I mean, I did play the first two games, so it didn't matter to me. I'm just like, whatever.
Oh, boy.
Plus, I played it in Japanese, which is also like, whatever. I can't figure this stuff out anyway. But yeah, I'm not gonna talk about the plot because everybody gets angry with it when they mention it.
I did.
I think the chat can take over for that.
Yeah. We'll just watch either get hit by 40 guys. This is kind of the reason why these guys are assholes.
Round 2.
Once they get a hit on you,
boy.
Oh,
you're in big trouble. They just juggle you to death.
What?
Yeah, it's pretty great.
well, there is
Oh
a strat
my goodness.
here.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, I
By the
can't.
way, one of the interesting things about this area is that there's a table in the very back, and if you use the table, the guys can't actually hit you, which is pretty funny.
What are you doing?
Oh,
Yo, nice fresh sage. What do you secure you guys, man? These guys don't perform.
Oh, I should have revived.
did I ever buy the multi-res items yet?
Yeah, I did.
He'd be in so much trouble if he didn't. By the way, he gets to start off the next fight in this condition, which is great.
Not the best.
Not exactly the best. There's a couple of ways you can do this fighting, but if you're like those really apply, I think if you're using Cliff, I think there's really one way of doing this. So the thing about this boss that he only does MP damage. If you have no guard set, what happens is that as long as you have a little bit of MP, no charge will activate, and you won't actually flinch, and your attacks go. So this fight tends to be pretty quick overall.
Unless you get trolled.
Yeah, like that.
There's a classic example of MP death on your characters.
Yeah. Because you haven't upgraded your MP moves at all, like you die really quickly once the boss takes you out. So that's kind of the main danger of this fight.
Oof. Nice.
Oh jeez. I just realized one of the regular enemies in SO4 has some similar attacks he has. Oh jeez.
And this is kind of why, again, having that extra attack power is important. Because, as you can see, without the cancel bonus, the charge doesn't deal that much damage, which is why you want the extra attack power. Because once you run through the multipliers, like, that's kind of where all your big damage goes through. So if you start off with a lower base, then even with multipliers, your damage just isn't that great. And in case it wasn't obvious, those two fights were not very good. You're normally supposed to be able to take them out, like, before they can really do much.
Yeah, you're not supposed to go SNK on me, but I guess the game isn't having it.
I like how you were getting juggled by the soldiers, because it's a really great way to show why those guys are complete assholes. If you're in like a more casual setting, you probably have more HP, so no guard just kind of tanks through them. But you don't really have that here, because your HP is also lower, so...
So on top of the stun lock infinite they can just outright kill you.
Yeah. They also have MP damage, by the way. So this is kind of really the first part of the game where they punish you for having completely neglecting your MP. But it's also like the only time that they do it. So now we're at the Sphere Company, aka Square Enix headquarters.
Nice. Did the dodge.
Oh yeah, have to watch out for those spider bots too, because they have really deceptive hitboxes, and they're really scary.
They're giant and fast.
Yeah, you do not want to fight those, even like on a normal playthrough. They have one attack where they shoot like 20 missiles or something, and you get hit by it, and you just like die.
They're prone to critical hitting to you too.
I don't remember if they're prone to critical hitting. I just know that they do like 20 to 30 MP damage, but because they hit you like 20 times,
Oh yeah.
take
Well, I
like
think
1,000 MP damage or something in one hit. And at this point in the game, even normally, you only have about 1,000 MP, so they just like one-shot you.
Good thing I didn't run into anything because I was using I forgot to change my formation.
Yeah, any of those enemies that you run into, they can outright kill you.
Yeah, it's this is part of the only part of the game where the random encounters are kind of scary. It's mainly because they do damage to MP. You don't really have a lot of it. They're fast. They can stun lock you. Most of the other times when you're fighting, you get into a random encounter, like there's only one guy, so that tends not to be too much of an issue. But in this case, there's like 3 or 4 enemies that can all do that. This is kind of where the difficulty kind of spikes up.
This fight?
Yeah, so we grab the uninstaller disk, and then we're gonna get to fight the missile dude and Kinky Whip guy, who are apparently the manager and like the programmers of like the company. So that's why one guy has a missile launcher. I don't know how he got that on his resume. So I'm like this manager of this company, and Luther decided that it was a great idea to give me a rocket launcher.
Oh, considering that this game company somehow has a small military.
Yeah, with security guards that have guns and everything. So as you
Spider
can see,
bots.
charge is really good. When you use charge, the lag time, the recovery time, does not tend to be that big, so Cliff can charge again immediately. If he was on FAM, Cliff can actually charge like right after the first one ends. So he just like bulldozes the bosses, which is pretty great.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
In the Fate route, you use Sidekick Aerial for that fight because the missile guy can actually jump into the air and fire a bunch of missiles. So as you saw during the fight with those 2 guys, either waited until the missile guy went back to the ground before starting to charge chains, because otherwise you would be missing a lot of the hits.
I mean,
Not good.
you can do that, like miss the chains if you're just trying to build up like, you know, a final strike, which is kind of cool when you do it, but I didn't want to risk doing something really cute like
Yeah.
that.
In my opinion, it's not worth it, because you have to use HP in order to use battle skills. And especially the major ones, they cost a percentage of your HP instead of a flat value. So even though you can build up your cancel bonus by purposely whiffing charges, if you get knocked out at any point, that's a lot of HP that you used up for no benefit at all. You might as well just wait until he gets back to the floor anyway.
One funny thing about Fate's aerial is that it can track enemies or where they are in the air.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's part of the reason why you used aerial, by the way, because when missile guy jumps into the air, Fate just straps on his Nikes and goes to be Michael Jordan and jumps like 20 feet into the air and then just spanks him down.
There are many bosses later that will fight that hover in the air for quite a lot of height.
Yeah, so in this route, again, Fate's relatively well balanced, and part of the reason is just like his battle skills covers like all the tracks. So his big problem is that like all his good skills comes later, requires you better EXP management. But Cliff's big weakness is that he's not the greatest at handling air enemies. So his best way of tackling those is through aerial assault. So you won't see the crazy Adidas Nike shenanigans that you get to see if you're using Fate. And this is a prime example of why these guys can get kind of obnoxious if you let them. So they do MP damage, that's why Cliff dies, but you don't really have a lot of points to go into MP. How do you make your characters backdash like that? In the very first menu, he set backdashing to use only D-pad inputs, I believe.
Yeah.
I do it slightly differently. Yeah, so all he has to do is just hold down one direction with the D-pad, and then you just hop backwards. The backdashes have different properties for different characters too. So you're invincible during a backdash, but the number of frames where you're invincible is different for each character. Unfortunately, Cliff's backdash is a little weak, so he doesn't have a lot of iframes on him. The two characters that have really good backdashes are Fate and Maria. Like, Maria's backdash is insane.
That was an interesting counter by that boss.
Good job.
Yeah, I saw that.
It's excellent retorts. Man. But yeah, it's pretty much just more backtracking now. This is the backtrack portion of this too.
Yeah.
They expect you're doing like side quests and stuff, so.
I don't think it's even they expect you to do side quests and whatnot. It's kind of a lame way to add a little bit more content because you're just walking all the way back to the entrance, but that's how the game was.
Also,
So-
the way back is different because there was an earthquake.
Yeah, we skipped the cutscene, but they mentioned that the path apparently has changed because there's been an earthquake. Now the thing here is he's going to use the Jewel of Refuge about a quarter of the way in here, and this is also very important because the corridors in this area are very, very tight. So these enemies are really fast or they have really big hitboxes. And the unfortunate thing is he can't afford to slow down all that much because Jewel of Refuge only lasts like just long enough so that you can get through all the tight corridors without running into an encounter. If you don't have a Jewel of Refuge, this area costs you like an additional 2.5 minutes or something just from encounters.
Yeah, see how that guy got him there?
Yeah. Again, if he didn't like dawdle around the big squid because it looked like his hitbox was gonna hit him, he would have been able to run past the Convictor. But if you dawdle just a little bit, the timer tends to run in, and the corridors are way too narrow for you to try to kite him. But getting into only one encounter is not too terrible.
Now we're back on the Diplo. We gotta
That was
talk to
good
people.
backtrack.
Yeah. I only got into one encounter. That's pretty solid. And it wasn't the happy squid, so it wasn't like the worst encounter to get into.
Yeah. Is Shrine of Kadan 2 coming up?
Yep.
Yep, all the D20s
And the Box Boys.
in the box.
Well, this is Aerial Assault. Okay.
So he also ran to the left at the very start after exiting the cockpit. If you head to the right, there's actually a private action cutscene between, like, what's the guy's name? I don't remember what the guy's name
Lankar and...
is. No, it was like, is it Lankar? I don't remember if it was Lankar.
Because they're talking about, what's his name? Liber?
Yeah, Liber,
and-
that's the other guy I'm thinking of, yeah.
Yeah. Because they're talking about Liber and Maria.
Yeah.
They're
So
gossiping.
if you watch that cutscene, it costs like 90 seconds or something. So you want to run in the left direction. So you don't need to see that. Also, if you're trying to get Maria ending, you don't want to see that either because Maria hates gossip.
Yeah, you lose private action points with her.
Yeah. And now we're going all the way back to Ellie Core again.
Yep, more
No.
repeating.
Even though this game is called Star Ocean, we spend the majority of time in a medieval planet and not being able to use our high-tech weapons except for Maria, which doesn't make any fucking sense at the point. Sorry. It's
Yeah,
like
like
we have to preserve the UP3, but Maria is gonna carry her microblaster onto this planet.
Well, she's not Federation, so she doesn't care.
Yeah, I think Maria just like damn. And all the enemies have changed because now they've uploaded the executioner programs to take out humans.
Alright, you gotta actually talk to the queen here. You can't just go straight into the shrine.
Oh yeah, I remember doing that during our race once. I went straight down to the Shrine of Kadan and found out I had to go all the way back.
Yeah, I was like, I thought the no bosses would have tipped you.
In case it wasn't obvious, I've only ran this game a handful number of times. But I did learn it, it's just that I wasn't too interested in trying to keep improving my time down. Yeah, so you go back and you have to talk to Queen. The reason why you do that is because they talk about how there's, the game calls it an out-of-place artifact. But basically, the orb in the Shrine of Kadan allows you to reach different places inside Alucor, or rather, it allows you to reach Luther. That's why you need to go all the way down there to grab it.
Yay, we got to do this dungeon again.
Yep, which means we get to go through all the amazing parts with the boxes and check out these new enemies. Make sure to stop by and look at the D20s, DDR's favorite enemy.
They're actually kind of hard to dodge.
They're actually really competent enemies. They hit like really hard.
Yeah.
And like it's really hard to stop them.
Not to be underestimated at all.
Like, I think they're probably one of the most obnoxious enemies in the game. After the light balls. The light balls are also obnoxious, all hell.
Oh yeah, those ones.
Yeah. I remember watching Aether recently do his casual run and getting wrecked by balls. It's great.
Oh
light
man,
balls, yeah.
Yeah, the light balls. You know what we're talking about.
Yeah, those guys are hard.
Yeah. The enemy balance in this game is not very good. Like, some of these enemies are really easy, but they give like a lot of experience points, and then you have the D20s, which are like really hard, but they drop like no experience at all. So it's just like, you would never want to fight these enemies normally.
First, the series of eyeball.
Yeah, you already did the menu.
Yep.
Yeah, there we go.
I do the menu.
I was like, did you set Aerial Assault? Because if you did, it's gonna be a prime example of why Clip doesn't handle.
Handle aerial
enemies that
really.
well.
Yeah. No, that's a menu that I definitely remember.
Yeah. If you fight those guys without the aerial tech that you're supposed to set on either character, or I forget what Maria needs to set, but Fate needs aerial for that fight, and Cliff needs aerial. So if you don't have those techs, like that fight takes forever. Because that enemy, when he's injured, will fly up into the air, and then he becomes on target. You have to wait for him to get back down. So it takes a really long time to kill him. Yo, sick confusion.
D20 land?
D20s, all the way.
Whoops.
And yeah, you can see Aerial Assault having AoE here. So you can take out more than one enemy at the same time. Nice Hammer of Might!
Yeah, I thought it was close enough for a short.
Classic.
Classic.
Also, he needs to recover HP there, because if you don't have enough HP, you can't use a technique or battle skill.
It's because these techniques cost HP.
Yeah, they have, at least the major ones cost a percentage HP. So you always need to make sure you have enough HP, otherwise you can't perform the battle skill. This is a game where if you run out of MP, you also die. Yes, that is correct. It is a core mechanic in this game that MP damage can kill you, because it works both ways. So even though a lot of people complain that MP deaths are silly, it's really no less silly than having MP deaths in FF6, because yes, MP death did exist in FF6, in case you're wondering. Just that was a lot more obscure. In this game, it's a major component, but it goes both ways. So you can kill enemies by dealing enough damage to an enemy, or vice versa.
I think you can kill Ultima Weapon with MP damage
In
in Final
FF6,
Fantasy 6.
I don't remember. If LCC is somewhere in chat, he probably knows which enemies can be killed. The main example I know, because of the fantasy stuff that I talked about earlier, is that Gao can get MP killed if he uses Magic Pot, and you're in a natural magic game, he has 0 MP. So if you inflict even 1 MP damage on him, he dies instantly. Which, in case you're wondering, in the Fantasy League does come up. Like, Maria can serve as a hard counter to
Oh wow.
Gao if he wants to use Magic Pot, but Gao has other ways to wreck Maria anyway, so Magic Pot's not relevant.
We're getting out of topic here, but here's the second eyeball that we fight.
Yeah, I apologize for getting slightly off topic, but I mentioned this way back when item creation was in process, but there really isn't a whole lot that we can talk about for the bosses, because, like, you just use battle skills, and then you run. That's, like, pretty much it. And
Yeah, just have to watch out for a few attacks.
Yeah, in the case of this enemy, you just have to make sure that he doesn't go in the air, because if he goes in the air, like, it takes freaking forever for him to come back down.
You can actually hit him with aerial assault if he goes into the air.
Yeah, that's the important reason why you have to set the attack too, because if you don't have it, there's nothing you can do once he goes in the air. But even with the aerial techniques, sometimes like he's like just out of range. So even with like an aerial or something, you can't reach him. So it's really annoying.
I guess you can see Fate jump really high in the air with his Nikes.
Yeah, it's great. He has those air pumps, the Jordans.
So. Alright, box
Yeah,
room time.
We're not really doing much with MP altogether. You're supposed to have much higher MP at this point, but yeah, there's not a lot of enemies that target MP throughout the game, so we largely don't really upgrade it.
I just leveled it up for the OCD people out there.
Yeah, well, it might help you in the final fight, take an extra hit or something.
No. You just die there. Oh gosh, I gotta...
You can probably survive 1 extra hit. I don't know how much that matters. That's probably the better question. Does it matter? I don't think it does. Because if it did, we probably would have done it a long time ago.
Yeah. I got a bad pattern. For boxes.
Box room round 2?
Yep.
Box rooms! This is DDR's favorite part of the game, the second. So DDR loves this dungeon because there's D20s and there's boxes.
Surely a mathematician's paradise if they were into geometry.
D20s and boxes. The only things that matter in this game.
Had a good pattern for the second box room.
Yeah. You can actually sneak by the box, but like it's really, really tight. Like I've seen Ivan do it all at once. All the other times I think he's tried to sneak past the box, like he just gets caught.
Yeah, it's a really tight timing, and you have to keep momentum. It's a really tough trick to do when you have to do it.
I think momentum is the big thing, because, again, if you stop moving or you turn perpendicular, like, Fate just needs time to reaccelerate, and boxes don't, so you can't really afford the 1 to 2 second reaccelerate.
I didn't see the other box. I thought it was a different pattern. Rip.
Oh, got caught.
Good job.
Oh god, it's a horrible pattern. Yeah.
Oh, he shimmied you. Classic box.
Yo, the boxes! The best part.
Yeah, I got a bad pattern.
My favorite is when the box shimmies you.
Agreed.
It's always the box that you don't see that gets you. Right?
Agreed.
That is pretty much life. It's always the box that you don't see.
I have like 3 extra jewels of refuge. I know where to use 2 of them. I have an idea of where to use the last one.
I just remember that time that Pitted had like those extra jewel of refuges, and he thought he had like the best place to use them, and he just screwed himself over.
Oh yeah, because he used it in Firewall.
He used it in Firewall.
Yeah, don't use jewels of refuge in Firewall, kids. It's a bad idea.
That was pretty great.
Well, we'll talk. Actually, I can talk more about it now because we're pretty much heading to Firewall, like coming up. But in Firewall, there's a D20 that rolls around that kind of serves as like a sentry. So when you use a jewel of refuge, what happens is it freezes the D20s in spots so they don't move. And if you do that, because the corridors don't allow you to pass through them, like they're really narrow, it's only wide enough for you and like the D20 to be on like the same branch. So you have to run into the D20. So if you use the jewel of refuge and you freeze the D20, you can't progress. So using it in Firewall is a really bad idea. But to be fair, like we didn't know that when he started it, so he thought that they would move, so he used it, then he found out that they didn't, and he was like, well, crap. And he just had to sit there for like 20 seconds.
Yeah, that surprised me too when that happened.
Oh, I only had 2
You
extra.
don't think of those as regular enemies.
No, yes, I agree. And that was his logic too, because if you run into them, you get reset. So he wasn't like, oh, these are not regular enemies, so they probably would be affected, or sorry, not affected by the dual refuge. Then of course he found out that did, so he was like, oh, okay.
Shows how much we know about Trice games.
It's more like it shows how much consistency there is in Trice games, which is to say that there is none.
Pretty much. I'm expecting some weird movements when I do my run.
Oh boy.
Yeah, no pressure. Just go with what you know. That's, in my opinion, more important. Although if you want to test out some crazy new strategy, that is also valid.
Oh, the thing I'm testing out is no guard.
No guard.
Oh, yeah. I think
That's a forward comment, unfortunately.
I know what you
No guard is
mean.
like level 1 skill is 10% HP.
Huh.
Level 10 is like 1%, but
That's-
I'm counting on 10%
The 10%. Dang.
because I need my damage sponge.
Yeah, so we have the orb now from the Shauna Kadan. So we're gonna head to the Moselle Ruins, because that is where we can use the out of place artifact to head to where Luke is. And yes, that is part of the plot of the game.
Conveniently, the firewall is.
Yeah, conveniently Firewall's located there. Also, we get to go and visit a queen. And I believe this is where Audrey joins you if you didn't have him join normally. Or is that earlier?
That's earlier. The
Alright.
first visit.
Alright, sick. Yeah, so we retired Nell as like an HP battery at this point because Nell is bad and you should feel bad if you like her.
Dang.
Bad character. Confirmed.
Oh man, chat.
Chat's just gonna explode.
Yeah, I
Like
said,
it did earlier when they were talking about freaking whoever their best girl was, and I'm like, man, I don't care.
yo, sick. Yeah, I said it. That's right.
Shout out to Tiny Pink Bunny.
Yeah, tiny pink bunny. This the little bunny.
By the way, we do see Pink Bunny Guy on our way back. And earlier, I mentioned if you wanted to resynth your weapon because item creation went badly, that's where you would get it. You would buy the weapon from Pink Bunny Guy, use the item creation factory or workshop in Paternity, and then resynth everything. And that would get you a weapon with about the same attack power.
Oh yeah, speaking of Pink Bunny Guy, are you gonna show them off afterwards? Like the one in Spiral Tower?
The real Pink Bunny Guy.
That requires me watching the ending, dude.
Oh, alright. That's true.
Yeah, it's to get the clear file.
Okay, that's fine.
That's like 30 minutes, dude. I don't think that's a bad idea.
That's okay though. Please follow twitch.tv either and watch us highlight.
Yeah, I have a highlight of finding
See
the bunny.
Pink Bunny Guy, real one.
The real bunny. Real Barney. He's
We didn't
actually an
see any
SO3.
Bunny riding in Star Wars 1,
No. It exists, but not in the run.
but not as a plot element.
No, it's a extra thing. It's a side quest. Alright, no scope snake. Coming up. This guy just walk into you because he has like perfect 360 turning. Thankfully he was nice today.
When does Roger presents?
When is Roger %? Probably
Yo,
never.
The last several times I asked Either that, he just told me to F off. So
Damn.
probably never.
Oh.
To be completely fair to Roger, he wouldn't be necessarily an awful choice. Just that you have to do the extra side quests and he's not really all that much better than Cliff. So there's really not a whole lot of reason to do so.
Dang.
Alright. Now we get to fight Chimera Man.
Gonna warm up.
Yeah, Yeah, so he's gonna move his characters to get near Chimera. So the Chimera has this tendency where if you're close to him, he will try to use his tail to hit you, and the tail can paralyze you. But if you put up somebody to act as a AAA wall, he will try to use his tail attack and keep hitting the guy with the AAA card. So he'll keep stunning himself, and you'll wreck him pretty. There's also another thing that can happen, which is when he does his leaping dive, sometimes he will jump on top of somebody, and in this game, if you're on top of a character, you end up freezing in place, and you don't recover any fury, so the guy's completely defenseless, and you can just wail on them that way.
Yeah, that's pretty nice when that happens.
Yeah.
You do that to Freya in the speedrun for
Yeah.
Spiral Tower percent.
In the Freya percent, that is actually the strat. You launch Freya, and then you get underneath her, and then she lands on your head, and then becomes incapacitated, and then you just wail on her.
Yeah, you just spam. What was it? Max Shockwave. Max Shockwave Energy Burst.
Yeah.
While Freya sits on top of Fate's head.
Fate's head, yeah. So moral of the story, Tri's games are well-programmed games.
And I sort of abuse that with Cliff with Aerial Assault, so can't really complain.
I mean, there's lots of ways you can go about beating enemies, but I think that has to win for the most amusing. Like, you just put the guy on top of your other PC's head, and then you just watch as she can't do anything, and then you just beat her up. Oh. Stone Golem time.
Rude.
Yeah, you used to do a lot more menuing for these bosses in Fate Route.
Wow.
Just because Fate needs the experience.
You just instantly countered. That's
Need
great.
battle skills. But in this particular variation,
Wow.
yo, suck.
Flaming Kick of Death.
Getting
Nice.
destroyed by Stone Golem confirmed. Yeah, one of the advantages that Fate has over Cliff here is that when he's using Sidekick, there's all those iframes on Sidekick. So if you're just quick canceling the Sidekicks together, you tend to avoid a large majority of those attacks. But because Cliff is using Charge, and Charge doesn't have any iframes, if you don't stun lock him, cause him to flinch, he will just hit you, and he does a lot of damage.
Alright, Firewall.
Fireball time.
Pretty sick dungeon theme. Oh, I got a mini trace there. When the battle was loading. That's pretty great.
Yeah, so you can see the corridors here, kind of narrow.
Gosh.
Sometimes you can't run away from the enemies, and then they just run into them, waste a bazillion years.
Rip Maria. Have to revive her. Jeez.
Keep in mind he has the Maiden of Irisa equipped, so you didn't have the Maiden of Irisa, running away takes even longer, because the escape time is dependent on the difference in levels. So because we're sort of low level, it takes quite a bit longer. You didn't have that, it would take forever.
All these enemies are just in bad spots. I can't go around them.
Yes, please equip the Gutsy Bunny. So we can all have a very good laugh.
Yeah, what a way to end a run, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Everyone becomes Rugal.
It's kind of why this area is awful. Even with like a dual refuge, if you didn't freeze the D20s, it would still be a bad spot to use it. Because the corridors are just not big enough for you to squeeze past the enemies. So if they're standing like dead center, there's no way to run past them.
Almost ran into that guy. Good thing I have good reflexes. I'm not old yet.
D20 land.
I couldn't make the fast cycle there. That's okay. It only saves like 3 seconds.
I hope Geese Howard becomes a playable character in Star Ocean 5.
Gosh. I thought I had more headroom there. That's unfortunate. I thought the eye was high enough where I could just walk under.
Yeah, the hitboxes in this game are really deceptive. That's actually true of all Trice games, by the way. Which is also why speedrunning them is not good for your health. Like, you can just get BS in amazing ways.
I'm surprised this hasn't gone as randy as Final Fantasy would get. Because people would be getting banned left and right.
That's because when you're talking about games not Final Fantasy, fans tend to be a little more
tame, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
Cause like those pairing things is probably
because
like
what I
the
said
worst.
is true. That's why there's not a lot of debate about it. Yeah, that's why I said it. So here, Aether's gonna take a specific route while he's going through Firewall. And the timing on this, by the way, is great. So if he slows down just a little bit, it tends to... If you miss the first one, it tends to be okay. It's like a 5 to 10 second loss. But if you miss the second or third one, like, it just takes forever. Because these Sentry D20s, they roll around in a specific pattern. So if you don't run past them at the correct time, you have to wait them out. So this is, like, you have to be able to get to the rooms in the right amount of time, which means that if you end up hugging corners, it could screw you over.
Yeah, I think dungeons like this are pretty cool, honestly. I'd rather have this than cave number 55 that I see like in every RPG ever made.
Yeah, this dungeon is pretty confusing.
It's confusing, but I like the
First couple
idea
times
of
you
it.
go through Like, even when I was learning the route for this game, this part took me a while to learn. And
easy.
coupled with the fact that there's the entire timing issue, like, you have to be able to get to certain points. You can see right there, just a few seconds beforehand. If he was just a little bit slower, like he hugged the wall a little too tightly or something, then D20 would have caught him.
I like how my in-game time is sub 3 still. That's funny.
Well, we're almost done with the game. We're at the last dungeon, almost. Yeah, and we get to fight Battlecopter.
Gosh darn it. Let me use an item. Oh gosh darn it. Oh, and he baited the item for me. That stinks. Because normally you just use a duck duck bomb and he's dead. Duck duck bomb.
Yo, sick homing Laura.
Seriously? Again?
Yeah, this boss also, when, I don't think it's an HP trigger, but sometimes he will use this attack called backthrow, where he flies up way into the air. This is why in this particular fight I prefer using Fate, because Fate gives no craps about the boss doing this. Like, his anti-air normal, like, just ignores, like, it just doesn't care about going to the air that way.
I have to save Dr.
Yeah,
Bombs for
save
Luther.
the bomb for Luther. Yeah, this is the problem in just, even in Fate Route using air raid. Like, if you don't kill him in like one go, and he decides to do this, like, look at all this time that you're just wasting watching him go up in the air, being a troll, and then killing you with that machine gun. Again, if you're using Fate for this fight, like, he just gives who cares about this.
What the
this problem.
heck?
Because if you use Ice Blade at power up, Fate deals like 40,000 damage, I think. So he like with 3 hits, he just kills the boss.
Might be dead.
Yeah, he might.
He's just spamming it.
Yep. I don't think you run out of Peltics, but yeah, one kill is better.
I have to use another analeptic. Like, I really don't want to be using those.
This is part of the problem, I think, in, like, it's kind of why I will always stick by Ice Blade for this fight. Because you can just get trolled so badly. Like, yeah, it's faster in other cases, but it's a lot more consistent.
I messed up the duck bombs, that's why that was so bad. Because I was doing them too late. You're supposed to do them as he flies up.
On the other hand, you've shown a very good example of how that fight can troll you.
I'd rather not show that.
If you're using Fade and you're just using Air Raid for that fight, because you can actually one-chain that boss with Air Raid in Fade Route, but if like you let him start flying away and he starts doing all that jazz, it's really annoying.
Oops, almost went the wrong
Do
way.
we have Reincarnation? No, we do not. Actually, nobody learns that spell naturally except for, I want to say, Sophia.
Yeah.
And there's no way we're putting Sophia in this route, because we don't need it. It's just a really big hassle to do it.
Yeah, because you actually have to level her
Yeah.
and get triple experience at some point. And hope
Have we
that
been
gauge doesn't break.
streaming? Have we been streaming this long? It's been 3 different runners, and we're gonna have a 4th run into Star Ocean 4. But yes, we have been streaming this continuous time and just passing the baton off to a new runner. So DDR will have the times for all the Star Ocean games once he's done his run.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, you have to fight 3 mini bosses in this area. And first we have to fight another mini boss in the form of Pseudo Blair.
I actually forgot she has Firebolt. I was like, what is she casting? Explosion? Oh,
Well,
Firebolt.
Pseudo Blair is kind of wussy, so. Yo, nice interrupt on the Fireball.
Yeah, sick dodge.
Rip. Yeah, even though that's an easy fight, she drops like 75,000 experience points for 3 characters or something. Again, the experience balance and the balance in this game on difficulty enemies is just mind-boggling. Like, the really hard enemies give you like no experience. You just fight them because you're like, the hard enemies, and I have to prove to myself that I can kill them. But after you do it, you're like, I'm never fighting these guys again because what a waste of resources and time. But yeah, so after you fight Pseudo Blair, she tells you that, like, you find a real Blair, she tells you that you need to activate these 3 switches in order to progress higher up Luther's security wall. So each of these 3 fights, I don't know if there's really any variation to them. It's mostly, again, more battle skill spamming, except I think the heartbeats you use here you select. Correct me if I'm wrong. the joys of using Fate for this battle, not having to worry about battle skills, because you just invincibility frames through all of them.
Yeah, it's kind of nice. Slower though, and you can get trolled pretty hard.
Well, yes, Fate can still get hit. There is actually recovery on Sidekick, but he's not invincible. As hard as that is to believe.
Yeah, don't use Angel Feather. It's weaker.
It's like 20% or something. But it
Yeah,
boosts all stats.
15% for all stats.
I
Compared
think
to
it's
power up,
20, but
compared to power up,
up's
that's 30.
50%,
No,
so it's like you get
yeah.
much more mileage out of power up. And the thing with Tri-Ace games is, if you're boosting defense, you're doing... Like, Tri-Ace game defense values are really meaningless. It's really about how much offense can I pump out in one turn. In the case of BP2, that number is really, really big.
Nice.
I think the hard piece is probably the hardest of this set anyway. Because once you lower them down to a certain HP value, they gain an impact called Hit Impact. And Heat Impact deals like a ton of damage, and it's super fast. Wow. Alright, that was pretty amazing. Don't run out of revival items now.
I mean, I won't, but it's very not cool that happens. Oh, I see. I've needed to heal so much that I'm actually out of MP.
Yep, this has happened to me before as well.
I mean, I can still use no, so there's that. Thankfully. That's just like very last, you know.
She has like 9 charges or something.
Something like that, yeah.
Which should be enough, I think, but...
Well, I'll only be healing Cliff. So...
You have more charges if you manage to keep her alive in the early bit, but... I mean, at this point, I think there's like one mini-boss fight, and then I'm not sure there's another one. I don't think there is. You just go to the top, fight Luther.
Now this is the last,
Yeah. This is the last switch.
mini-boss, yeah.
And really, in my opinion, once you beat the Harpies, like the other 2 bosses are really easy. You can get killed by Rucko Gigas, which is the first guy that you fight. Like if you are really careless though. Like that happened to Pink Bunny guy. I forget exactly how it happened, but I know you can get killed by explosion.
Yeah.
Because it has a really wide AoE effect.
I need to hope that I won't run into anything. So I can just run into something.
Probably run into something. You just have to hope you don't get hit. That's the big thing.
Oh yeah, that's true. Probably the bigger thing. Hope I run before I get hit.
Does anyone speedrun 4D? I don't think anybody in the NA community speedruns 4D. But there are Japanese runners that do 4D runs.
I have no idea what the route is, so I wouldn't be able to run it if I wanted to.
I don't know if they use the no movement glitch, but I do know for a fact that, like, it's only like an additional 30 or 40 minutes longer. It's mainly because the bosses just have, like, crap load more HP.
Bad luck. Some mistakes on execution.
Well, yeah, he also got, like, 2 soft logs and had to reset the game twice.
Yeah.
Which is pretty great.
I'm like,
Yeah,
wow.
I've never seen that happen to him, so it is literally that has never happened before.
Pitted ran this like 80 million years ago, and he'll never run it again because he has. I've come to hate the game like he has.
Pitt ran the game, like I think Pitt ran this game like way back in like 2012 or something. And I don't remember what it was that he was like, alright, I'm done with this game and never running it again. But it did get to that point where he was like, I'm not running this game again, like ever. I don't think I'm really at that point personally, but it's not one of the games I prefer the most. It's just that there are parts of the game where it's just not very interesting.
Right. Just one more door, and then
Yeah.
we're done with this floor.
You have to activate these doors by using the right color combinations with basic color elementary. If you you can actually hit some of the doors earlier, but if you mess up any of the doors, you have to fight a unescapable battle. So you really do not want to mess them up. In case what's in the chest, it's some synthesis item that we don't care about, so we ignore it. Because at this point, we don't need to grab anything. And yes, Folly is correct as well. Withheld Once Upon a Time ran this game as well. I don't know if she has any plans to pick it back up, but
I doubt it.
she has like real life stuff going on, so she hasn't been very active in speedrunning in general.
Alright. One more puzzle.
If you really want to see more runs of this game, I would say your best bet is probably to follow some Japanese Nico runners. But Aether probably knows more of them than I do.
Man, they don't even run the game anymore.
They don't even run the game anymore! Like, the only runner I know, Japanese runner I know that runs SO3 is, like, Pink Bunny Guy and, like, Chigome.
Mochigome hardly runs this game. His PB isn't that good.
Yeah, I don't know too much about Chigome, but Pink Bunny Guy, yeah, he's just, like, dropped off the face of the planet.
Well, he does stream, it's just he also speedruns FFX2, but the final mission, the 104 thing.
Yeah.
The ancient cave of FFX2.
But yeah, I mean, my opinion is that I think you have better luck watching more runs of this game from Japanese players than NA. Because I think most NA runners, I don't know if either ended up feeling the same way as I do, but my opinion of this game after learning a route of it is just that it's like, it's just not very interesting, and if you're trying to go for a good time, it's super frustrating. Between all the trices and all the ways that you can get trolled with item creation, with boxes, it's like, it doesn't even really matter how good some of your fights goes, because it's just like, if the game doesn't want you to get a good time, it just says, no. It just trolls you in one of the billion ways that it can. So it's like, not a very interesting run, you do a lot of movement without any interesting movement tricks. The battle tactics are not super interesting after item creation, and you can get trolled forever from all the different ways you can expect in a Tri's game, so it's just one of those things that I think, like, you have a certain tolerance for, and once you reach that tolerance, you're like, alright, I have to take a really big break from this, and possibly never coming back.
Yeah. Perhaps the Prophet is among us, and we'll get the sub 3. Kappa. But yeah, I would at least like to move on to other things. Like, go back to FFT for a little bit. Maybe, I mean, doing the VP2 thing with Garrick. Maybe do some Star Ocean 1. Just play other things.
I will probably end up taking a really big break from VP2 once I've done my run at Lemon Breakdown. Like, that's the game where it's just super frustrating. But more on that when I actually do my run and do practice of it. Watch me complain about it. It's pretty great.
Go straight to Moonbase. If someone could find a sequence break like that, I'll give them like 1,000,000 Neo Shekels. So
Yeah, I don't think it will exist because people have looked into this game, but you never know. I mean, once upon a time, people thought like, you know, FF6 was done with the sketch glitch, and then
no.
52 happened.
yeah, and it's like wow. You still have to play the game though. So
It's like wow, this game got more broken than we thought it could be. Pretty great. Alright, so we're about to fight Luther, finally. That's why the top floor. So, there's 2 phases to this fight. In the first phase, Luther's not very dangerous, so he just spams all his invincible time wasters, and they deal a lot of damage, have good coverage, and you could get killed, potentially. So it gets pretty messy. But he, earlier, back in the item creation section, Isaac created the duck bombs, which stun bosses. And he saved them purposely because if Luther begins to use one of his invincible times, what I call an SNK boss, quite literally, because he just spams all his invincible time wasters, and they deal a lot of damage, have good coverage, and you could get killed, potentially. So it gets pretty messy. But he, earlier, back in the item creation section, Isaac created the duck bombs, which stun bosses. And he saved them purposely because if Luther begins to use one of his invincible time wasters, you can actually stun him before he uses it, and then Cliff can continue his big chain. In the optimal scenario, Luther will actually use Ray of laser beams. Sorry, I'm getting the Japanese version confused with the English one. But he'll use laser beams, which forces him to stand still for a bit without having full fury. So then Clip can just unload a bunch of charges and take him in. I think that's about the extent of the strategy here, but Micro can add more to it.
nah, you just beat him up. You beat up the developer of the video game.
Yeah, you literally beat up Square Enix. But yeah, that's about the extent of basically what happens. So yeah, if you see him do laser beams, it's great, because he has to stand there. And then he can't do anything while the spell is active, because he has to recover. So then you just slam into him, charge him, wreck his day.
Shoutouts to Finger Wings.
Shoutouts to Finger Wings. So Fate's position in this fight is also sort of important. So he set up the wide area attack lineup because it puts Fate into a position where if Luther uses his Insanity Prelude, which is like his ultimate move, it will create these like 3 prongs, and if you're positioned correctly, you can't get killed by it. Also, you got really lucky there. It's not perfect symmetry go off and hit everybody. Yeah, so if you're positioned correctly, what happens is when he uses Insanity Prelude will not kill you, because that spot where Fate is standing is the safe spot.
Is Star Ocean?
That's the 3 boys. Nice.
Please, Luther. GG.
I got super lucky.
You got really lucky. I saw that. I saw that perfect symmetry hit everybody. I'm like, oh, is he gonna get wrecked from MP damage?
Yeah.
Because that can't happen if you get hit by it. But that is also one of the reasons why, yeah, Luther gets sort of dangerous once his HP gets low enough. So having a duck bomb is just security so that you can take him out of it.
I should have saved 2 instead of 1.
Yeah, you probably want more actually, but you don't need more than 3. Like having 4 is overkill.
So, considering everything that happened to me, it was a run.
Yeah. Well, I
Quite
think
a run, actually.
it was a really good run that illustrates all the things that can go wrong with this game. Like, it looks easy, and the game's fun if you're playing casually, but in the speedrun setting, especially second half of the disc, it's not very interesting. It can just get trolled in so many amazing ways. That is great. I mean, it's a good thing Dream Boom doesn't run this game, because he'll probably find some way, in some fashion, to get killed that we haven't thought of before.
Also find a way to find more metal slimes.
Oh,
At
yeah,
the- at the
there's
beginning?
enemies in this game. I
Yeah.
completely forget about that.
There are metal slimes in this game.
There are indeed metal slime in this game. I forget.
But yeah, now they're trying to be existentialists.
Philosophical.
Pseudo-philosophical. I don't even know, man. I think they were drunk at this point.
I don't really know what they're going for in terms of the plot, but I mean, this is not really like a plot game in my opinion. This really is a gameplay type of game. It's just that the speedrun doesn't really do like really interesting things in the latter half because the fastest method is to just item creation and then smash the game. So, is the stream ending after this? No. Our friend DDR will be moving on to Star Ocean 4. And
Right
that
here?
will be the ender. Yep, so he's right there. Fortunately, I don't know anything about the game, so I will be signing off very shortly once we swap games. But I think Garrick is gonna be coming back on hopefully. So we'll have.
I think I have iFair coming on to do a little bit of.
Yeah.
Alright, we're good. We have the top tier commentary stream instead
You-
of me being a late guy, being bad.
Yeah, so if you guys aren't sick of me yet, we're gonna spend 3 more hours together. So I hope you're all 3 more hours. I'm assuming that's the estimate for SO4.
Probably.
Yeah, 3 hours, I say.
What's your best time? Like 2:45,
2:44, 43 is my PB.
Yeah, so probably about 3
Yeah.
hours.
So you want the song to play, or do you want to switch over?
I
I don't know if you're ready. Oh, okay. Well, it's up to you.
Yeah,
Wanna
I think
switch
I'm ready
now?
to go.
Alrighty, guys. Well, I will be right back. We're gonna go and switch over to Star Ocean: The Last Hope by some DDR noob, current world record holder, and
Gotta make sure the stream key is right first.
and known stream monster. We want you to sing it? No, dude. You'll have to donate like $1 billion. I'm sorry. Capo.
Double
No
check
man, I'm telling you.
Bounce checks.
it. House checks.
Karaoke with Ritterdance is what we need to do.
Oh man.
That is the true top tier donation incentive.
All right, ready is.
Should I start the stream right now? How is it gonna work?
I'm gonna stop the stream
Yeah,
now.
Either will log off and then you can